Okay, we are live, I think. I don't know how long the delay is. I think we're live. So, hello people, we're very sorry that we're late. We're also sorry about the rain. I hope it's not too loud, but it's supposed to be going soon. That's why we are late. We were hoping that the rain would pass, but...
We have a noisy studio when it rains.
Yes. And it's also the middle of winter in Melbourne, so very sorry about that. Hopefully it passes soon. Hopefully it's not too loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just checking everything's working. It is.
Everything's working?
Yeah.
You sure now?
That rain's pretty annoying.
That rain is
really
very
sorry,
annoying.
everyone.
According to radar, it's supposed to go in about 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay, so hopefully it passes.
It passes.
I hope so. Oh, Anna. Hello, Anna.
Oh, we obviously are live then.
Yeah, everyone's saying hi.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about? You didn't think about that, did you?
I did, but I'm also not a photographer, so I don't know what things are interesting to talk about.
What things are interesting to talk about?
Yeah. While we wait for people to ask us questions, if you guys have questions, please pop them in the chat box and we'll answer them.
Cool. Well, I can just start by...
Oh, the bot's working.
The bot's working?
Yes.
Did we get instant attacking?
Well, because I've got a thing set up if you use too many emojis, it attacks, so it warned Anna for using too many emojis. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, we got hacked the last time.
We got hacked, so now I've got a bot set up so we shouldn't get spammed.
A bot that eats bots.
Yeah. So we can get going.
So we can get going?
Yes.
Well, just until we get questions, I was just going to start off with just a couple of things, and one of them is different parts of the world are going through different stages of lockdown and coming out of lockdown. Sydney in Australia has gone into heavy lockdown. Victoria, so we're sort of out of lockdown, but we're still so restricted what we can do, and it's sort of affected models. Anne's tried like 4 times to come to Melbourne this year. Every time she books something, either Victoria is locked out of where she's coming from, or she's locked out of Victoria. So, which makes it difficult to be creative because there's only so many models that do your sort of look within your area, and then when you've used all of them up, you start either having to keep repeating with the same model, which you can get a bit stale. Like I like my muses, but I also like some room to move. So I actually called out to an old muse and got her back shooting. It was a buzz for me yesterday. It was
very fun.
Yeah, so sometimes it's good to visit maybe someone that you used to shoot with a lot, who mightn't be working in the industry anymore, but still loves doing photo shoots.
Sorry, I'm just trying to check on this bot, and sometimes I'm
checking on the bot.
Yeah.
Hi from Ipswich. So I'll do your job.
Sorry.
40 degrees, yeah. Thank you. I think today's 10 degrees.
Yes, so JMGP asked if it was cold there and said you're not wearing your white t-shirt. But yeah,
I've got it underneath.
It is freezing cold here though.
And Beck gets the heater. I get the cold side of the room.
And yes, it is rain. So if you weren't here when we first started, I did say I'm really sorry for it. Can't really do too much, but hopefully it will be passing soon. So it's getting lighter.
The radar said before it was going to pass within the next 5 minutes. And that was 5 minutes ago, so it hasn't passed yet.
I don't know why the bot's timed out someone.
It's all right.
I'm working through the teething process. Jared would like to know, why do you shoot both Broncolor and Pro Photo? Why not just one over the other?
I have the Broncolor packs in my studio, which I bought years and years and years ago. And I bought them because Pro Photo didn't do the pack that the Broncolor had. So I wanted the ability to shoot at 50 frames a second. I wanted the ability to have 10 dynamic stops in range. I wanted to be able to have 3 channels in a pack and control the color temperature. All of those things. Like Pro Photo make great packs, but this pack was sort of like a step above. And Photo's just released an amazing pack now, but this is 10, 20 years, or 15 years later.
Yeah.
Oh, about 10 years, I think I've had Mascaros for. But when it comes to the battery lights and the single heads, I find Photo is so much better. The lights are lighter. I just really like the Bs and Ds and that of Photo. So I don't run any Photo packs, and I don't run any wrong color battery heads or standalone heads. So pretty much the Photo carries all my everything I do that's just a single head, not on a pack. And I've got used to their triggers now, so I can actually do all my adjustments on top of the camera. Yeah, you made us dark.
Oh, well, we were cooking before.
Some cinematographer you were.
Well, there you go. So I'm looking.
Yeah, so that's the only reason. They're both amazing lights. So look, I'm not going to say one's better than the other, especially with Photo's new packs. You know, what I've read about them, they seem amazing. The other thing is I do have some fittings and that in the studio that I can't change to Photo. Well, I most likely could, but my para is a broncolor para, and I put a broncolor ring light in it. My Mega Light is a broncolor, and it's got a broncolor big controller. I can't, Photo don't make those things. So it's like me shooting Hasselblad and Sony. Each tool has got its place within my studio.
Eric would like to know, what do you mean when you say the Rembrandt effect? This is the second.
Rembrandt effects is just when the light is coming across the face and creating a triangle off the nose. So you end up with this triangle on one of the cheeks, and it's called Rembrandt. And it's called that because Rembrandt used to paint that into a lot of his paintings. But a lot of this stuff, and this is something Beck and I find a bit strange, I'm not having a go at this person, but if we don't know anything, we just Google it or YouTube it. So even if I can't spell something, I YouTube now because I can see the correct spelling if I start typing it wrong. I do like using YouTube a lot.
Right now.
I like using YouTube a lot over Google search, mainly because if you were to type in BMW M4 how to change headlight into Google search, you'll get ads for headlights or BMWs. You won't get how to do it until you get to the third or fourth page.
Did you hit accept on that phone call?
What phone call?
A phone call just came through and then it said call answered on iPhone.
No, I didn't see it.
Okay.
Did you
Sorry,
break
keep
it?
going.
Oh, something came up there and it disappeared.
Oh, that's fine. Not
Yeah,
stressing.
Not stressing. Can I turn that box off?
Which one?
That one?
I guess.
Did it break it? No. Yeah, so things like that, I swear by YouTube for finding out how to do everything now.
Christian would like to know, which non-medium format camera brand would you recommend for a beginner?
If you don't have any glass, like I'm loving the Sonys, but Nikon, Canon, if you don't have any glass, it's not going to be as big a problem buying stuff to match the glass that you already own. But it really depends where you want to go with your photography. There's lots of people that love the Fuji. I had a bad experience years and years ago with the little Fuji, and I just didn't like it. So I've never gone chasing them since, even though lots of people tell me I should shoot with them. But I'm extremely happy with Sony and my Hasselblad, so I don't see a need to try other cameras.
Jarrell says, why Capture One versus Lightroom? So why do you prefer?
I don't like Capture One. ACR.
No, he said Capture One.
Yeah, see, I don't like Capture One at all. I've tried and I've tried and I've tried.
I think in our description I say that if you don't have focus, you would recommend Capture One over Lightroom.
For tethering.
Yes.
Yeah, that's only for tethering.
Yes, so he wants to know why.
Yeah, that's only because Lightroom is terrible for tethering. Like, Capture One is slow, but Lightroom is like pathetically slow. Like, it's not usable. And I don't think some camera brands you can't tether through a Lightroom as well, which makes it tough. What I have found though is a lot of this, well, not a lot, some of the camera brands have their own capturing programs. So Sony has its thing called Image Edge, which is amazing. It's super quick, simple.
That's the Sony's own one, yeah?
Yeah, and it's free. Hasselblad's Focus is free for Hasselblad users. I'm not sure if Canon still have, I'm certain Canon would still have their tethering software that comes with it. And I've just seen that Tether Tools have just released a tethering, well, they've got tethering that might have just released. I've just seen they have a tethering program for tethering.
Really? A tethering program for
tethering?
No
Yes.
way. Shook.
My God, you can see it's not Monday. Yeah, I really, Capture One, I really want to like it and make it work. And I used to use it with my Canon 15 years ago, but it was so slow on my Sony. It kept on doing weird stuff where it timed me out and things like that. It became a pain, actually. And I can't get my look in it. I have tried and I've tried. The thing is that Capture One has been built on perfection. They've made it for digital photographers trying to get that flawless, like still life, landscape, architectural, that type of stuff. And it's all built around by being sharp, saturated, and they're all the things I'm not a big fan of for my own work. I tend to like something a bit grungy, a bit more filmy, a little bit more broken.
Well, kind of leading on that, for Doomer Games says how much touch-up is too much on a photo. What do you think when it starts looking like it's not real life? Like if it's
yeah, as soon as
plastic.
to me, as soon as it looks plastic or it starts to look computer generated.
Like the eyes are over sharpened and they're super white.
Marbles,
and they look like
marble eyes, yeah. Over contrasted, over sharpened eyes, over lightened. But I'm not anybody who does that. That's their style, and there's people out there that love it. There's people out there that love that super sharp look. That's their look.
That's their look. I mean, like
So,
I personally like super saturated photos. I mean, if you look at my Instagram, in between your photos, the other ones are super saturated, but that's a thing that I like. So it's just a difference of taste.
There's no right or wrong,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to art. There is absolutely no right or wrong, and
Matter of opinion.
people should never critique. An artist would never critique another artist,
Yeah.
because they would realise that what the person's doing is what they like to do, and who cares that you like doing that?
Yeah, exactly. Eric says it's still dry July. Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's quite wet. No. Oh, it's been dry July all day today.
It has. It's been
all day.
All day. So
All day today's been dry. What is it? 10 o'clock in the morning.
10:26. Is this girl his granddaughter? No, I'm not Peter's granddaughter.
Do you think I could? No, that's nothing related to me. That's the opposite end of the
Peter is my boss.
scale.
We've been working together. I've been his assistant for 3 years, and we've been
Yeah,
working.
I was going to rephrase it. She's been my assistant for 3 years.
That's what I just
Working's a different thing.
said. I was going to say working together for 10, but since you want to be so rude,
So, well, we've been shooting for 10.
that's working together as well.
I do all the work.
Cooking a little bit.
Are we overcooking what?
The brightness.
Oh, the brightness.
That's right, I'll change it.
We should have a remote control thing.
That would be so handy. Do we have commercial photo shoots? If so, how much does it cost? Yeah, we have a commercial shoot tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, we've got to do commercial shoots. That's how we live. That's actually how we survive. My standard rate, I have different standard rates, so it depends on what they want, but my rates start at 2,500 just for me to open the door, and that's per day, and then studio hire, and then things like studio hire, or if they want me to be art director, if I need to put my look into, rather than just pushing a button and doing what they say, or they come in with an art director, my price goes up to 5,000 a day. Just there's a floating price to how I charge mine out, but I don't look at other people's prices. I don't think I've ever looked at any other photographers.
No, you base it off your own overheads.
Yeah, it's based off my own overheads, and this is what I charge. And we've had clients, especially a while ago, would come in and say, "Oh, you're like double such and such's price." And I said, "Well, just use him." But yeah, I get it done half the time, which means I'm actually cheaper because I only got to pay half the model fee, half the makeup stylists, art directors, or whatever, because we get it knocked over really, really quick.
Yes.
That's right. We're shooting Harley Davidson lights tomorrow, aren't we?
Yes, yeah. Exciting times. People are sending us love. Thanks, guys. James says, when he started shooting nudes, it changed how view nude pictures. It's no longer, oh, look, a nude now. It's, okay, how's the composition, the lighting? Did that happen to you? You don't shoot nudes, really, that
Well,
often.
fashion.
Fashion, yeah, I guess.
But I've always looked at, it's just a body. I don't see anything, and especially in fashion, it's a mannequin.
True.
And the shapes and the stories. So I've never been interested in buying men magazines and shit like that, so I've never looked at women that way.
Fair enough.
So I think that might be why women put up with me. I don't know. But yeah, I don't, nudity to me has got nothing to do with sex.
So it's always been about?
It's always been about
the composition,
composition, the form, the silhouettes, that type of thing. And quite often, and Beck's seen me do it, if say we've got a topless shot, if the model's face isn't better than her breasts, the picture's terrible. So I keep on working so the model's face is still the most powerful within the picture.
Oh no, sorry, I was just testing sound. You're starting to clip a little bit.
Clip.
When you,
Am I clipping?
It's only when you talk a little loud.
All right, I'll think I'll declip a tiny bit.
Just a little
Or I
bit.
can move it. Right, I won't get excited.
Russ would like to know how we've made money during the pandemic. You're kind of watching them. kind of watching it. We've
shift our scales a bit. We haven't got, our overheads dropped a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. Our travel was dropped 100%. So it sucks, yeah. So I think our travel bill for the last year before pandemic was like 180,000 for the year.
No, I don't think it was that much.
All our travel, yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
You're expensive to travel with.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You don't want fancy things. Anyway.
I'm a fancy person.
So with that, that did drop. Yeah, and my accountant told me the other day our drop was sort of like 70%.
Jeez.
But also our income dropped 75% or something. We just cut back. We sold some gear. We sold a bit of gear we weren't using.
We just had to shift a lot of everything to being online. So Peter does one-on-one mentoring as well, and we used to have a lot of those sessions in person, whereas now we do them on Skype with photographers. They'll contact us and Peter will organise a time, and that's worked out well because people that you normally wouldn't be able to see, you've been able to chat with. Yeah. So that's been...
Yeah, the online, the mentoring, and then the YouTubing is
YouTube and
just inspire. So we're diversified. It's not what we want to be. We want to be back shooting and travelling.
Yeah, I would like to be drinking wine in Barcelona. We can't have everything.
I don't want to be shooting product.
We've got to do what we've got to do. Christian would like to know, which Sony camera do you have, and would you do a YouTube shoot using only the Sony camera? I think we've
already have
got one.
Mika? Was Mika YouTube or was that Inspire?
Doing what? We've got a few Mika videos.
Wasn't we doing the one with the tethered to capture one? I can't remember. You'll have to look it up.
But there's a few. I know there's the Maddie one where we're outside.
Oh, Maddie, yeah, outside. We're going to do some more outsides, but it's freezing in Melbourne at the moment. And models don't like going out in the winter in Melbourne.
Ideally, I don't really like filming outside.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do another one. The only reason we haven't done much is because of the tethering. We're finding the last one I did with Capture One, it was sort of like once we finished videoing, it was still another 5 minutes till all the pictures came into the computer. But I might, we'll do another one with the Sony. But
and
what
Peter's
I might do,
A1.
Yeah,
We've got the S, which where video will stream.
My shooting camera is the A1.
Yeah.
So yeah, I used to have the A7R III. I didn't go for the 4 because I didn't need the more megapixels. That didn't interest me. And because I sold a couple of cameras and went to the A1. So basically, I got the A1 for nothing from what I sold.
Yes, that's good.
But yeah, look, we'll take it on board. I'll get the Sony software running. We might do a shoot using that. That'd be good.
That'd be cool. Jonathan says that your captures have a certain something in French. I'm not very good at French, so I'm not going to embarrass myself on a live stream. If there was one thing you attributed that certain magic to the most, what would it be? Shooting medium format, lighting quality, post-processing. You're going to still say eyes. I'll look up what this means. Sorry, I'm not very good at French.
I'm an eye photographer. I'd say that's the main thing. The second, what?
Oh, it means like a certain, like, it's like a
hand wave. It's not like finger movement.
It's like, it means there's something about them.
Something about
your photos.
Yeah, well, I would say the main thing I chase are eyes. I'm forever hassling about eyes, aren't I, Beck?
Yes.
That would be my main thing. The second thing, like the medium format does give a certain feel that it's very hard to get in other cameras. But then people don't say your Sony pictures look so different to the Hasselblad pictures. Most people don't even know when I've shot a Sony and a Hasselblad. So the medium format is a thing that I love. I'd love to be shooting large format digital, but there's no such thing. Yeah, and then there's my black and white and my breaking type of processing. I don't want it to look too perfect. And I actually like things that aren't quite perfect. Like my assistant. You read it.
I saw it coming a mile away. The headshot guys said a film is making a big resurgence. You often talk about getting a film look using digital. Would you ever go back to using film again? Why or why not?
Commercial, just not viable. Yeah. No commercial client will put up with it. I had to quote on a job a couple of years ago. They wanted large format film, and when I gave them the pricing and how much, they just said, not a hope in hell.
Because the actual film itself is expensive, isn't it?
That, and then the processing time and all of those types of things, and they still want you to shoot 500 shots. They don't understand that there's only 12 shots on a roll, and the scanning, all of that type of thing. Like,
it takes forever.
It's fun things to do, but it's just commercially not viable, and we're going to end up scanning them anyway and then taking them into Photoshop anyway. So, yeah. And the cameras, all of the film cameras, there's some newer film cameras, but the older ones, especially like the old Hasselblad 503s and that, unless your eyes are you're focusing, you don't realise how crap you are at focusing once you get onto those old cameras. You're looking through this top screen, you don't have this beautiful EVF sitting in your eye, or the luxury of a mirrorless with focus peaking. But anyway, just not commercial. I do love it. I still shoot a bit. I still got this film sitting in the fridge. Where was I? I don't know.
I lost because I was checking things.
Hello from America. Hello, America.
Hello. Where was I? Sorry, 1 second.
What's coming up soon on Inspire? We're just... Sorry?
Okay, that's fine. You can continue.
Well, I was sort of having blank noise.
It's okay. I just found one.
All right. We're just finishing off, we've put up one of Beck a little while ago, and I'm doing the retouching, but I'm sort of doing some variations. So I've been playing around with different tricks, and one of them was adding film grain. And in the past, I've always added film grain. Basically, I have some scans that I shot with different films on an 18% grey background, and then I can just drop them in as overlay and so forth, which is all good and well, but it's not always, doesn't always suit the look that I'm doing. So I've now been working on making a easy set of grain noise layers, which really mimic film grain, and you can vary your densities of 2 or 3 levels of grain.
Like most of the new photos you've put up on Instagram have all had that grain on them.
No, not most, but the ones I wanted to have that look.
I feel like most of them have.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, I'm just saying.
I put a little bit on Natasha last night. But yeah, that was one thing, and another thing I was working on, and I've been working on it for a while. I've been getting frustrated with my focus shooting with Hasselblad. My black and white workflow is really easy. I know exactly what I want. But but with ACR, I'm not always 100% happy when I'm in RAW to actually export it out of RAW in black and white. So I saw a couple of tutorials talking about you could add LUTs into ACR, and I thought, oh, that means I can keep it in color but have a black and white LUT. So I started playing with that and it works great. So I'm just doing a tutorial on that, as well as a couple of retouching of You, which will all be up this week. Then we've got 2 big ones with our new Lottie.
Yes.
So yeah, I've got 2 big shoots. That'll be most likely be up next week.
Yes. Falling a little bit behind, so I'm sorry everyone. Rue would like to know your thoughts about optical snoot projectors, please.
Yeah, they're quite harsh, but I have 2 here. I've used them. I don't know how easy it is for me to do this. This isn't doing anything yet, is it?
No, they can't see.
They can't see, cool. So what I might do is, if I just bring up a picture I used, and I should really do a tutorial on, well, I've got it in my list of things to do, doing stuff like that. Oh, this is you can
ask a question while you're finding that?
You can ask a question. Well, yeah, I'll put up a picture of something I did using optical snoots a while ago.
What if I'm good at technical stuff like lighting, settings and gear, but not good at creating ideas? How can they make money or work on creativity?
Very hard. Yeah, I know a couple of friends who are very, very technical, but when it comes to experimenting or getting outside the square, they're blocked by being too technical. That sort of, it's like a technical block that stops creativity coming in. Got to make sure I don't click on that. So if you want to flip to me.
Yeah.
Right, so you'll see that picture there. That was done with a snoot flash, an optical like projector snoot. The blotchiness or the shadowing across her skin is, I had a CD cover, a blank CD cover, and I got onto the CD cover with texture and scribbled on it, and then I could project it in and out of focus, and these shots are just me slowly changing the focusing of that. And you'll see as I get more, I've focused more on the squiggles on the CD cover to get that look, and there you can see finally it's got a lot of squiggles.
Squiggles, I love that photo.
So yeah, so I should really do a tutorial on that because that's good fun stuff.
Yes, that'd be really cool, yeah.
I've got in our list to do projecting, and that we just haven't done it yet. Other fun things that we're going to do is actually use projectors to light, and we have something projected onto a model.
It's really fun. Steve said, hey, and he's mates with DB. Is that Dave Bromley?
Oh, could be, yeah.
He said, massive fan of your work.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. We actually
massive fan of David's work.
Deep down, nudity is always about sex. It's actually not. Civilization wants you to think that it is, but it's 100% not. But that's
everyone is naked every day. It doesn't mean that's sex. You think you go to a nudist beach where people are laying around nude. That's not sex. Go to a topless beach and you'll just find that all of a sudden there's boobs everywhere. It doesn't mean sex. If that's the way your brain works, you've got problems. Sorry. But yeah, nudity is not about sex, and that's
just how people have been conditioned to think because of...
Yeah, I don't know why. You go to Europe and you go to the spas and you've got 80-year-old men naked next to 14-year-old girls, and it's 100% innocent and nobody's thinking about sex.
Everyone's, I don't know, the world's just changed. I blame
American TV.
Hollywood.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about.
Daryl said he was going to ask about mentoring. If you would like to know more about mentoring, you can drop me an email and we can have a chit chat about that.
Yeah, mentoring, we do it, it's an hourly thing, and we work with however the person wants to work.
Yes. What countries were reopening? Are there plans for us to travel? Well, we can't get out of Australia, so it's awesome that countries are reopening and stuff, but we're still locked down here. So we hopefully
They're saying next year.
Really?
Yeah, it's not happening this year.
Gosh.
Yeah, I know.
Irritating.
But yeah, because Australia just has gone on eradication, even though it can never happen.
Well,
They can't eradicate the blowfly, so how are they going to eradicate them?
Okay, well, this isn't a blowfly. But once we can get out, we will be doing Europe and America. And
We'll be out of here in a second.
yeah, I know, but I'm just saying we'll be going to Europe and America. We'll probably hit up LA, Texas, New York,
Mexico?
maybe Mexico, maybe London, Zurich,
Milan,
Amsterdam,
maybe Barcelona.
Barcelona, Germany. So we'll be going all over the place once we can get out of here. How is the back wall made? We have a video on it. If you go through Peter's channel, you'll find one of how he painted this.
Yeah, it's a timber wall that's been hand painted.
James said he's watched every video because of you. They're now studying a diploma of photography and photo imaging up in Queensland.
Oh,
Cool. Beck, when I'm modelling, is that because Peter asked me, or do I volunteer, or both? It's both, really.
When she first started working with me, it was sort of like, can you take a picture, please?
But now sometimes Peter will want to test out a new lighting, and he'll ask me if I can be the guinea pig, and then some days I say I want to shoot. Yeah, just a bit of both, really. Daryl says they're new to photography and wrapping their head around lens choices. If you're using flash a lot, is there a reason to really go below 2.8 or f4 versus buying faster speeds? Also, what's your favourite lens millimetre?
I tend to shoot around the 85 sort of length a lot. So the lens that I most use on my Hasselblad is 100mm, which is around about an 80 on DSLRs. My 80 and 100mm Otises, most of the two most used on the Sony. Although I have started, I've gotten back into some of my old way of shooting. Was when I used to shoot Canon, I love my 70-200, and when I'm out and about and moving quickly, I do like shooting that a lot because then I can just pick the focal length that I want really quickly for the look I want. And when it comes to fast lenses and things like that, it's normally the faster lens, the better the quality of the glass is normally. So it's not just, if I'm most of the time in the studio, I'm only shooting f8. So I could easily get away with a f4 or f5.6 lens, but normally the higher the f is the fastest that lens will shoot normally means it's a lower quality lens. That's the only thing, but I still have a couple of what you'd call low quality lenses, which I love because I love the distortion in the lens. It gives me a look I like. So it really comes down to, this is this thing that you so much better find your own lens that you love. I did what you're doing many, many years ago. My favorite photographers, I had to know what lens I was using, what aperture they were shooting, all these things.
Just be curious. It's
curious, but it doesn't mean that that's what you should be using.
Yeah.
And it's how you use it and what you see. So you find that if you have a couple of lenses, you'll tend to go towards one.
Yeah.
And borrow some lenses off people or hire some before you spend lots of money, and really see if you really like that length before you go buying. I've spent so much money in my life on lenses that I never used.
That's like me with eyeshadow palettes. I've bought so many eyeshadow palettes over the time, and I've got like a stack of them at home, but I always just gravitate towards one because I really like the colours of it. That's how I'm going to relate to it being a girl.
Well, it's the same thing. It's you'll find, like, tools are good fun. All of us like our toys. And we can spend thousands and thousands on toys. It doesn't make us a better photographer. Quite often, it's really understanding what makes you enjoy work, what gear you're using that makes you enjoy it the most, and you'll tend to gravitate towards that. Yes.
Robbie says that they have a small space and trying to light it with a small flash in a studio where they want drama lighting. Would you shoot from the side, up, top, or down low with the light?
I don't know if I answer that without seeing the space, seeing what you're trying to create. There's too many ifs, but small space or large space, Only problem with really small spaces if all the walls are white. It's really hard to have a lot of control over light. Now, I don't like black hole rooms, but in a small white room can be a disaster. You can only sort of get a certain amount of difference between the highlights and the shadows unless you bring in some blackboards to create that. But we are working on, we've got a shoot coming up soon we're going to do for both YouTube and Inspire in an Airbnb.
Yeah.
And we've got one on Inspire where it's just basically shot the whole shoot in a bathroom.
Oh yeah, they're shooting with t-shirts.
With t-shirts,
Yep.
So tiny little bathroom, we did a shoot. So there's ways around it. The only problem is if you've only got, say, a 3 metre deep room and you want to get a big soft light but you want it to fall off quickly towards the background, that might give you problems.
Marcus said that they usually shoot natural daylight, but you inspired them to shoot with lights again.
Oh, cool.
Which is funny because you normally like shooting with natural light more.
Well, I love natural light. It's just that commercially it's not viable
yeah.
because you get a day like today, or you get a super bright day and you want that muted look. So
but you would, if it wasn't commercially, you would prefer to shoot with natural light.
Yeah. Well, we had the same problem with that video clip we just had to do. Remember, the TV station wanted to do it on this day and said the light's going to be terrible on that day. We've got to shoot it out on the beach. I can't get the look we want. And then when they saw what we did on the right day, they go, oh, we want to film this now. Well, we don't have this day again.
Beck, how is my hair so fluffy all the time? Because it's dead, so the ends are frizzy. Like, I don't know.
And there's a mixture of cat fur in there that keeps it volumized.
And then when I clean it, like when it's like freshly clean, it just, I don't know, it goes really fluffy until I straighten it. It's just how my hair.
And then she has her doof hair where it's sort of like dreadlocks.
I don't know, my hair's just dead and I'm a grot.
A grot. It's the red wine. That's what it is. It's all what red wine does to hair.
No, I think it's just because it's dead. Like
it's
the
dead.
ends are dead from when I bleached it. Donald would like to know, when was it that you knew you were going to be a beauty and fashion photographer? He said Photoshop, but I think he means photographer.
I was shooting lifestyle, fishing, four-wheel drive, kayaking, mountain bike riding, all that type of stuff. And I had to do a shoot for Columbia Clothing in a studio. And I did that one shoot and I fell in love with the control of that area. And I had no idea that I wanted to be a fashion shooter, but I did want to shoot people and I want to have control over it. And very quickly I just found I fell into that fashion hole. And I think it was when I was young, I used to I used to draw a lot and I used to cut things out of Vogues and that a lot. So from the age of about 4, I was being trained to fashion.
Yeah.
Flashins.
Marcus says, can you please give tips on how to make models feel more comfortable during shoots? They're doing a boudoir shoot for the first time for their friend this weekend.
Yeah, just some of the words you use, gorgeous, beautiful, sexy girl, hot chick.
No, don't say that. Do not say that, mate. Do not use those words.
Try and keep what you're saying away from those type of descriptive, sexual type words.
I just get it.
You need to the model has to be comfortable. So everything I shoot is to a model's comfortability. So the model has to want to shoot this and the model has to ask to shoot this for me to shoot it. And quite often we'll get girls that want to do the implied topless look, but they would never do topless in their life.
We give them stuff to put over their boobs and then people comment on YouTube saying that they think they saw something, whereas actually they have nipple covers on.
Yes. So with that, the more comfortable you can make the model feel, the better the position, the better the photo. It still comes back to what I say, it's the eyes. So if the eyes look uncomfortable, unsure, that's going to make the whole picture feel that way.
But aside from words, do you have any words you use? Do you have any other tip? I think music helps.
Music helps as long as you're not putting on emo rap.
Emo rap's the best. No, make sure it's
it's got to be something
what the model wants that's also going to suit the mood. But
and
let the model pick, and I guess just talking to them as well. It's a bit awkward if things are silent.
You've got to talk a lot, but you've also got to talk through the process. So a lot of people who've never, say, been in on a shoot with me will hear me say something to a model and go, you can't say that to the model. Whereas I'm very open. If something doesn't look good, I let the model know and tell them I can either fix this or let's readjust things so this isn't a problem. So it could be a double chin, it could be a fat arm, it could be... I was shooting something the other day and the way the camera light was working, it made her legs look super cellulite-y. And I just said, no, that's the way the light
but
is.
They don't look like that.
That's not how it looks. Just turn your hip a little bit and oh, there, it's fixed.
Yeah.
So it's that working with the model, and I quite often say, yeah, I can fix that with Photoshop, but I can't fix that. So don't care about maybe that slightly mottled skin on your legs. I can fix that easily, but I can't fix a bad facial expression.
Yes. It's taken me so long to know that as well.
Well, you now pick...
I now know what you can fix. So.
You now pick pictures, although you still do look at bodies a little bit when you're picking pictures, but yeah, you do pick better now. You do tend to look at the eyes more.
Yeah. James would like to know, how do we find models without breaking the bank? We just put up a whole big long thing on, the rain's come back, a whole big long thing on Inspire about how we find models, but a lot of it is just through Instagram, really.
Yeah, pretty much we will do our different levels of lurking and stalking and
kind of stumble across them through that and go from there, or they sometimes find us.
Yeah. It's hard at the moment.
It's very hard at the moment because...
Lots of models have either given up or there's this horrible word called e-commerce and influencers. So a lot of the people that are doing e-commerce and influencing are not so good in front of a camera anymore. They want to have control over the cameras.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, do you have any suggestions about where to start in commercial photography?
Yeah, get a style. Have a job, working in the supermarket, stacking shelves, do whatever you can to earn money so you can live. And then every spare second in a day, shoot. And just keep shooting and shoot for you. Don't go asking people to critique your work. Don't just shoot pictures that you love.
Ever thought of visiting Beijing and Shanghai?
You're already done.
We did do Shanghai.
I've done Beijing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. We've done those. I don't know if we'll go back.
Yeah, we did that with Telephoto and Hasselblad. Yeah, so we've done both of those. At the moment, we can't get out of Australia, so.
Yeah, but when we can.
Yeah, if somebody else takes us over there, we can do it easy, but
yeah,
we don't have the connections on the ground.
So that's kind of the hard part about it, but who knows, we might come back one day. Ellie, I think, wants to know any idea for challenging yourself as a photographer?
Yeah, try and take photos now.
What do you mean?
Well, if you're in lockdown or if you're in...
Half the world isn't.
If you're... all right. Well, a challenge is just making something good out of nothing.
Doing something you wouldn't normally do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just get into a space, work with someone you've never worked with before, don't have any preconceived ideas, and then build something from scratch. Or find a picture that you absolutely adore and try and copy it absolutely perfect, except the pose will never work because most of the great pictures, the models weren't dead, still holding there like this. They were moving when that picture was taken. But once you've really, really mastered the sort of the lighting and all the camera work and all that to get that picture, then make it yours. So you obviously like that picture or the lighting and that because that's why you're copying it. But then once you've copied it, then you go, all right, so that girl's wearing a denim jacket and a white t-shirt, and let's put you in a dress. Let's do something different. We use the same lighting. You're not going to copy the pose, but that lighting was really cool.
Todd says, hello. Do you have any suggestions on...
Did you say it like that?
That's how I read it. So in my head, that's how I said it. Do you have any suggestions on locating a space for a studio? I've been working with a commercial real estate agent, but they all seem to show me is commercial retail space. Well, this is a warehouse that Peter converted.
Yeah, but I still looked at this for a month before I came in here.
What do you mean you looked at it?
I came here every day for a month.
What? Did you
Twice a day.
I'm fixing my hair.
You're checking your hair out. Yeah, the first studio I owned, it it was a photographic studio before. It was in a arcade between a major shopping centre and a railway station, so it had a lot of traffic. The rent was ridiculously cheap. It was $100 a week because they didn't know when they were going to bulldoze the place.
Yeah.
And I was there for 5 years.
Sorry.
And with that place I had...
Isn't it still not bulldozed?
It's still not bulldozed. But I don't know if they've rented any of the insides out now. They kicked everyone out in the end. But,
Crazy.
but it had 4 metre high ceiling. It was a long skinny bit, but it was enough for me to put a corner cyc in. It had plenty of room for me to run commercially. Oh, she's over there. I wish I could swing the camera out. She's over checking herself out in the mirror.
Fixing my hair.
When I was sort of given 6 months, so I really should need this. They sort of said, we want to try and vacate this building in 6 months. So I started looking. I saw this place come up and I pretty much came here so I thought if I was going to move to somewhere else because my other studio didn't have daylight at all, I wanted to have some daylight. So I came, every morning, every night to have a look at where the light was coming through the windows and just fell in love with it. And yeah, this was an old office supply place.
Interesting.
So yeah, I'm facing west, so we get afternoon sun, which means in the morning I've only got reflective light coming through the windows. In the afternoon I get direct light, so it gives me 2 completely different lights to work with. And Beck's seen some of the amazing different times of the year.
Different lights that we get through
like
the windows.
Coming into late autumn we get a great late afternoon light, and then coming into early summer we get a really good afternoon light.
Yes. We've got a video on, I think we've got both of those actually.
Yeah.
They're really old though. They're like our old live streams when we first started the channel. So
Pretty crappy.
Pretty
not
bad.
much not much better than we are now, but
so if you want to check out our early stuff, you can go, but wouldn't recommend. We answered this briefly before about working in black and white film. Peter does have film and he does shoot in it, but commercially it's not viable to do so. But if so, what film do you love the most and developer and format?
Well, I actually don't do the darkroom stuff because it gives me, it used to give me really bad migraines when I was young. So I used to have mates who were really crappy photographers but amazing in the darkroom. So they loved me because I had copious amounts of band photography that they could play with. But at the moment I've been using Ilford a bit as my film. I love Tri-X as well. Well, I'm not shooting, I'm shooting like a roll a month at the moment. I'm not really shooting much at all. But at the same time, I have the stuff that I'm shooting is a lot of the stuff is for things like online stuff. So we've had in one of our lives or one of our tutorials, we kept on getting asked, can you show us you shooting film? So halfway through the tutorial, I took the digital back off my Hasselblad, put a film back on and just shot exactly the same way. The actual shooting side of it's no different, except you slow down because you can't just throw them away. Guido
says that they use your action set a lot. Can you explain to them once more the different save formats you have, for example, 1080p, etc.?
Right, so when I'm saving off, I have a save for my web page, which is saved at a lower quality so the web page runs quickly. And I have a save off for my social media, which I just do at 1080. So that way I can just grab that and drop into any video that I'm running. I used to have 2 online fashion blogs that wanted my work always. One was Fashionizing, which I don't think exists anymore. I think they're completely gone. And their stuff, they wanted 840 pixels high. And there was another fashion blog I used to shoot a lot for, and I think, well, by memory, they were 1,000 pixels wide. So I had an action that pretty much would downsize the way I wanted to downsize, sharpen by the tiny bit just to make up for the web, save to that folder at that size. Then it was step back till we got back to the full size image, then resized, resharpened it, resize to the new sharpening, resize to the new size, then sharpen for that size, then sent to that folder. And that was where my images go everywhere. It's starting, I can mostly pull that down. I only need 3 different sizes now, which is my 1080p, my own website, and one for customers.
Do you ever enjoy wildlife photography? Have you ever bought any super telephoto lenses?
No, I used to shoot in the fishing and that a bit, and I used to trout or wildlife, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, so I used to shoot that. I did it for a while, but yeah, you ask them to smile, they don't smile, and give me eyes, they don't do that, and they always want to be naked.
Oh my God.
Well, the fish never put clothes on. Yeah, I did it, but it's not my
thing.
Not really my thing. It's like I enjoy taking photos. I do every now and then see a landscape. I'll think about doing some landscape, but I tend to find these amazing landscapes and then shoot models in them or videos.
Yeah. I'd love to see a video about you shooting in daylight. Yeah, we've got a few. If you just go through the YouTube channel, there's heaps of videos already there. We need to do more shooting outside, as we mentioned before, but they'll be coming soon. But yeah, there's heaps of natural light videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The railway one was Inspire, wasn't it? Yeah, that wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be doing once we get a bit better weather.
Yeah.
Because it's just too cold for the models out there.
Yeah, but there's still a few on there. What is your process going from the edited image on your computer to the printed image hanging on the wall, like the type of printer, paper, etc.? Do you do it in-house or do you send it out?
I'll do it in-house up to about A2, and anything bigger than that gets sent out. I have a printer I use which I like some of the Ilford papers. I love Gold Fiber Plus, and there's a Gallery Gold by 2 different companies that I've heard that's been discontinued now. I like a sort of a satiny type of paper, but with my fine art prints and things like that, I'm working with a printer at the moment, and a really good printer knows what sort of paper a picture needs to sit on. So when he sees the image, you go, oh, that really needs to be on a mat or a fine rag or whatever. So I tend to go with the skills of a really good printer and let them work through with me. And the printer I use, I think he charged me $35 a print, which means he might do 7 or 8 test prints. Oh, wow. And I get charged that for each test print. And then once we've decided the paper and the amount of sharpening, because I don't want my pictures sharper than what they were taken, which is without sharpening on them. So it's just getting the right sharpen so the picture's not actually going soft because it's on paper.
Yes. John would like to know if you could please talk about your Photoshop process with N panels.
N panels?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know what
an N panel. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
You can't tell me what an M panel is.
I'll look it up.
You'll look it up.
I'll
Sorry,
look
because I don't really go looking at stuff. I just have my techniques. So this could be a new style of thing. I haven't heard of N panels.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
We'll find out in a minute.
Yes.
He'll answer and put it.
Yeah. I can Google it as well.
You can Google it.
Doug, we'd like to know, do you ever use old SLR lenses to get a specific look?
Yes. I have all my old Hasselblads and
you have the old 100-year-old one?
I got the 100-year-old camera, yep. And that's 120 years old now.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I've got my 503 Hasselblad lenses. I've got adapters that can go on the Sony. I've also got my Mamiyas, which will go on the Sony.
I always think you're saying Mamma Mia when you say that.
Mamma Mia. I've got a couple of old Zeiss lenses. A couple of old Zeiss lenses, a couple of old Leica lenses. But yeah, I use them a little bit. I don't use them a lot. But yeah, if it's a certain look I want. But I've also found that some of the new lenses with some of the ways I can use them has given me even better look. So I tend to do that as well.
Yes, chop and change it. I also said thanks for including the time map in the announcement. You are welcome. I thought, because people always message me asking me what.
Thanks, biggest love in the world.
Well, I don't know. If I want to know what time it is somewhere in the world, I just Google it. But people would always ask me, so I found this really easy app. So you guys are welcome, and you can just like add it to your favorites and use it in future. Because it's really handy to use. Martin says, "Thank you for both all that we do and our teaching and our videos. You're very welcome. Thank you." John says last video they could not follow because they don't have the Photoshop panels. So I think they mean the things on the side or the actions.
The panels.
I think.
Which one?
You know
are you talking about?
how it would have been
Normally
the retouching one of me.
Yeah, but I normally bring all the screens onto.
But that's, do you know how like it's got the?
I haven't got that in there.
I don't.
You don't know? I'll find out in a minute. I'll look it up while you're doing this.
I'll ask a question. We'll look at it.
You look it. All right.
Okay. Lawrence would like to know, did you ever consider doing YouTube videos shooting outdoors with minimal gear?
Well, that YouTube videos with minimal. Well, my outside work is normally just a camera
And a tripod.
and a lens. And even on the beach, I don't even take tripod.
Oh yeah, true.
Just camera and lens.
Yeah. So we did the Anna Beach shoot, but that's on Inspire. And we do want to do more outdoor ones.
We had the Maddie one,
we do want to do more outdoors.
Yeah, we've got to do some more outdoors.
We will, we promise we will. It's just we are in the middle of winter at the moment.
And yeah, when we had weather that we could shoot, we were in lockdown.
We had masks.
Had masks, so it was a bit hard.
A bit hard shooting there, so. Have you ever worked with a graphic designer?
Yes, they're right up there with art directors and TV producers. Beck knows what I'm talking about. It's not always easy.
Yeah. Lawrence would also like to know they're trying to rearrange a room in their house to make a studio to keep overheads low. If you had to estimate the minimum dimensions for a home studio, what would they be?
I want to have a reasonable height ceiling. I wouldn't want less than 3 meters to be able to work properly, but I think a lot of the studios.
Let me zoom out.
The panels are all
Yep.
there.
So I'm now going to just cut.
On there.
And if you like the crease, you could leave it in there, but it's just a me thing. I'm just going to dodge and burn some of this out afterwards.
Yeah,
so that's all I'm going to do down there.
Your panels on
so a little bit on the back. I'm going to do. I'm normally looking for things that are very small.
If you go, I'm trying to click on the video. It doesn't. In your window, when you're in Photoshop, there's a thing called Windows. You can set up workspaces, and you can put your. What I've got one that. For a single screen, I have one area that has layers, actions, and history, all in one window. I can just click through those 3 tabs. I normally run then with an adjustments area, and then I've got my quick actions window, and then my properties window, and then my tools window, and I just lay my thing out that way. I would just go onto YouTube and Google setting up Photoshop windows and find something there. But yeah, that's...
Sorry, that was a bit of a delayed response. We got there though.
Yeah, I need to look it up. I understand what he's talking about now. Yeah, I thought I hadn't recorded with them showing.
We got there. But jumping back to the studios, so as you were saying, the dimensions, but then JPV also wants to know what's the smallest floor space, so we can answer Lawrence and them together.
Smallest floor. Well, when I first moved in here, the factory next door was empty, and there was 2 holes that we were cut through because the previous place was using both. I was so tempted. I thought, no matter how big you have, you always want bigger.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think anything below 3 meters square, you're going to really. If you're only doing headshots and portraits, that'll be fine. But if you want to start doing full length fashion, you're going to really start to struggle.
So it depends what you're shooting.
Yeah, it really depends. There's an amazing art nude photographer, I can't think his name, I think he's in Peru or something. Incredible, his understanding of light was unbelievable. Now when I found out he was only shooting everything in a bedroom.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yep.
and his work was just to die for, and his light control was incredible. And I think he was only in something like 4 metre square type room.
Impressive. A cheap camera comparison, Peter, I know you say it's not about the camera, it's the artistic eye, but could you shoot side by side with an old Canon Rebel XS with a 50mm
Yeah?
besides the Hasselblad?
Yeah, I could, and I'd still take a good picture.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be going, if I was using that, I wouldn't be trying to do, well, I'm not chasing sharpness anyway, so from that side of things, yeah, I have no problem at all shooting with that. If I can shoot with my 503 Hasselblad, which you now buy for, I saw one up on eBay the other day for $500, and that tech is so old. I'd mostly just put it straight onto manual. I wouldn't be shooting onto autofocus, and I'd just shoot that way. Look, we could do a tutorial on it, but I can't see what anyone's going to gain out of it because a camera's a camera. It's like I have my expensive knives for cooking, but I can still cut with a cheap, shitty knife. Well, you can still cut with it.
Good knives to make a difference.
Oh, you found that out, didn't you?
Yeah, it's so much easier. My onions are so like finely chopped now. Why exactly do you like daylight photo shoots?
Because it makes me work. I've got to find the light.
Yeah.
In a studio, I can do whatever I like.
Yeah.
I can make light. We just finished doing one for YouTube. It'll be going up soon, which is me mimicking what we did in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Mimicking a shoot we did in Barcelona. One of our clients wanted that same lighting. Well, it was a daylight on top of a roof of a building. And it wasn't that hard for me to mimic it. I pretty much, it was first try, wasn't it? My first setup was pretty much copied it. So yeah, I find in a studio, I can do nearly anything, but
Don't you just like the look of natural light as well?
I like the look of it, but also it gives me that beautiful challenge of finding the light.
There you go.
Remember the video we just did on the beach? Remember from these two angles it looked amazing, but from that angle it looked terrible.
Yeah.
And just those little things, finding that light was just unbelievable.
Last time it was tacos, what's next from Eric?
Well, I've been doing with chili lately.
Yeah, but you can't make that. Takes hours.
It does take a bit of time.
Well, people are like talking to us for hours.
Yeah, but the actual getting it all in the pot only takes about 45 minutes.
Oh my God.
But then it's got to stew for about 5 hours to get the real taste.
And chili's been amazing though. We've been living off chili. It's
I should do a burger.
We should do
I
burgers.
could do a burger from scratch. Maybe that could be our next one, burger from scratch.
Wait, you're going to make the buns?
No. Well, I could, but I'm not going to.
Well, then what else?
No, I just meant we'll grind the meat and everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can do that. We'll
And
do
make
burgers.
the sauce and
We'll do burgers.
we'll do that from
Guys
scratch.
get to see the sauce dripping down my hands. We'll see how big my fan club is.
Or I could do a
after that.
chopped cheese and show the bish how it's supposed to be done.
No, that's not
Yes.
fine. You baked his own bread. Frederick would like to know, do you set your digital body to monochrome for black and white or use the software and select it later?
All right, when I'm shooting, I can't on the Hasselblad, I've got no choice, but when I'm shooting on the Sony, yes, I have in its styles, I have my style turned to black and white, so my viewfinder is black and white, and that seriously is the best thing that I can do when I'm shooting natural light. When I'm shooting in the studio tethered, I can have my screen set to that. But when I'm out and about, the Hasselblad doesn't give me that, not even their mirrorless, which I really get annoyed about. But I will have my camera set to black and white, which means my JPEGs will be black and white, but I don't shoot JPEG. All my RAWs are still color. But it allows me, and I've done this before on workshops where I teach people how to see, and then once they learn how to see, they see that their eyes see color, which means they're not seeing contrast and not seeing light. And once you get things into black and white, you're only seeing light. And if you look at most of the cinematographers and most of the TV cameras, they've all got black and white monitors so they can see light.
Philip said he can't believe it's been 2 years since he met us in LA, and thanks for taking the time to do this and more cooking shows, please. Philip was he was a cinematographer from up.
Oh, that's
north?
right. Yeah, no, he was all yeah. He came out. He did the
friends joining us.
Yeah.
He did the LA workshop.
LA workshop.
Yeah.
We did the natural light.
Thank you for joining us. We miss you and we miss LA.
I hope his health's all good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we would love to be back in right now.
Is this white wine in a regular glass? No, it's water.
Rubbish. That's vodka.
It's not.
Oh, it's
water.
gin.
No,
You're a
not.
real gin drinker. I don't even have a drink.
It's
That's
water.
right. That's
I was
water.
thinking of getting a wine.
You're thinking getting the wine? Oh yeah, well it's I'll find what country it's 3 in the afternoon for. New Zealand.
No, really, anyway.
Yeah, I might get an iced tea in a minute.
An iced tea. I might get a tea, a regular tea. I'll get a Ribena actually.
A Ribena,
Yep.
yes, right.
Do you feel like you're making the exact same photos over and over with different models, or is it different to you in any way?
At the moment, a little bit. Yeah, a very good point. At the moment, and I've said this, I've witnessed this with Beck, I can't get back into my creative. I've got the most creative storyboards I've ever had, and I can't find models to shoot it with. So I am getting very, very stuck in all the models today have this little tiny area they want to work within. There's all this worry about, I'm going to get cancelled. And we had a model the other day who wanted to do a cigarette shoot. And then
You told her she'll get cancelled.
well, I would be happy to shoot it, but I was pre-warning her. Like, I've got no problem with it myself. I know 1 or 2 smokers, I think, still live in this world.
What?
Quiet. But yeah, I used to be a smoker, but I saw recently someone got really badly cancelled because they had a cigarette in their hand. And I thought, I hate this, and I pre-warned her of this, and all of a sudden she goes, yeah, no, I don't want to do this now, which is annoying. I would have done the shoot, but I did want her to be aware of the consequences.
Yes. Well, I know it's because I've got a few smoking shots, and every time we put one of those up, people have a go at me for smoking. That's right.
Yeah, I know. It's the whole world trying to tell you how you should live your life, rather. And same with photography. The whole world wants to tell you what you should be doing in your photography. So it looks like theirs, and then you have a look at theirs, and nobody likes theirs because it's the same as what everybody else is doing, which is boring. But yeah, I'm struggling. The couple of models that I can create with are locked away. Although one of them I haven't spoken to Beck about. I'm going to fly her down, I think.
Oh, cool.
Spend 2 days in the studio going crazy with her.
Cool. Excuse me.
And we've got another cool model we're shooting soon, which is up in the snow, and she'll be awesome.
Should be cool. Chris would like to know, when am I going to let you do another photo shoot live? It's really hard doing shoots live.
We can most likely do it better with Natasha on board. She's good with cameras now.
Yeah.
We can try. Just find out how with 2 of us, there's no camera operator Beck always used to operate the camera, but then there's nobody reading so we'd have to get somebody in to read the questions.
It turns into a bit of an ordeal, but we can. I mean, we did the one with just you and I, and it was fine, I think.
Yeah, that was all right.
Oh, it's just a lot of me running back
and forward. But if we had Natasha in, we could do that, or we could have Natasha and Anna in, and we could be shooting Anna, and you could be answering questions, and Natasha could be. Well, we'll try that.
We'll try. Give it a go soon.
Life's a pain in the butt, though. It really is.
Jeff said that they're playing a little bit with focus, but annoyed that it isn't importing the RAWs from the Sony A7 Mark III, and then they can't use clarity.
Yeah, look, many years ago, it'd have to be 4 or 5 years ago, their old CEO, I had a meeting with him, and they were definitely going to make focus usable by as many different camera manufacturers as they could, and it was going to be like $99, and it would have all the features of focus, and then they got bought out by DJI, and then he's left, and that was the end of it. It's a shame because Capture One or Phase have proven the worth of software in the way of Phase and Capture One now are two completely separate companies, still owned by one entity, but they're run as two completely separate companies.
I did know that.
Whereas they used to be just Phase camera software.
Wayne would like to know how about a rooftop or car park shoot.
We did a car park. Oh no, it's on his
That's
spot.
on his spot, Tanya.
we will. I want to redo that shoot anyway.
Cool.
So we'll definitely do some car park and rooftop shoots.
Is there any advantage to shooting with a dedicated monochrome sensor instead of converting your color images to black and white? Leica makes dedicated black and white sensor cameras. Is it hype or for real?
I was asked recently why I don't shoot with one of them, and it's because I'm restricted to the black and white that they've set up. So I can then carry around filter sets and drop filters over and all of that stuff, but I find it as have so much more ability to create afterwards to finish off the look I was trying to get. So I like that ability to decide on what channel or what color filter after the fact. Like during the time I'm shooting, sometimes I like to have that feel of what it looks like right now. But so often I'll shoot something one way, and once I get into the RAW program and start feeling like, oh no, it's so much better in green channel. I like this, where it takes away that ability. And commercially, my clients, they'll book me to shoot black and white and say, can we have it in color?
Yeah, so it's unique.
Yeah.
It's good to have that point of difference.
And one of the new tutorials I'm working on at the moment, it is for Inspire, but I'll do a version of it. What are you looking at food for?
Someone told us about it.
Oh.
Don't look at focus. My computer.
I haven't got focus on here.
My computer. Don't look.
One of the things I've started playing around with is with running a black and white neutral LUT in my ACR, which means I can play with all the color channel stuff until I get it looking exactly like I do, turn off the LUT, export it into Photoshop, and now Beck saw the other day I could just go color black and white straight away and it had the exact same feel.
Yeah, exactly. That was really cool, actually.
That was
I
cool.
prefer the color though.
Of course you did.
Yeah, Paul told me to check out this barbecue. Is right next door to us. But I had a look and I put it in and it came up with a different name, and it's also in Albert Park, so it's a little bit away. But
That's, yeah, not next door.
no, but it looks tasty. People are saying thank you and they love your work. Thank you guys, it's appreciated. We caught up nearly.
Oh, have we?
Yeah.
San Fran. I loved San Fran. That's where I had the best burrito I've ever eaten.
Oh yeah, I want burritos now. Now, if you want a spot on the Virgin Galactic flight, since it's a thing now, what camera would you take and what would you shoot? Hasselblad or something? What's a Virgin Galactic flight?
That's the outer space one.
Oh,
The one that what's his name just did.
Elon Musk?
No, the one he just did. Elon Musk hasn't gone yet.
I don't know.
Oh, Virgin, head of Virgin, beardy buck-toothed guy. Oh, you know
I
what I'm
don't pay
talking about.
attention to this
It was all over the news a day or so
I don't
ago.
watch the news. It's depressing.
I'd take an iPhone. No, I'd most likely take a bag. I reckon I'd shit myself.
That's nasty.
Well, I'd take most likely, if I could only take one camera, I'd take. I must say take my Sony because it's better low light.
It's pretty dark in
A1.
space.
It's a bit black out there.
Yeah, it's pretty dark, yeah. What is happening down under? It's raining. And Sydney's in lockdown.
And where I live doesn't have trees anymore. We got blown away.
And we have to sit down at festivals. No, we can dance again. You can have 50 people on the dance floor.
Oh, that's right, you had to go to Beck went out to a Dolphin Night and had to sit down.
Yeah, it was fun. Anyways, is there an easy way to get the same focus, clarity, glow in Photoshop? It's not easy, but do a bunch of layers.
Yeah, isn't that last one I showed?
I think
I
so.
only did a little bit of layer work, but yeah, it's not as easy as that single slider that Hasselblad has in Focus V1. But I can do it because that's how I get my Sony pictures to look similar to my Hasselblad.
Exactly. Now, did you ever try to open source software Darktable? Seems to have a lot of options, even though the layout is not as intuitive as ACI. I haven't even heard of that.
Yeah, I haven't seen Darktable. The thing I've found with a lot of the new programs that we're being sent through, they're very much filter based. Like, click this, have a look at this, have a look at this. And if you're using that type of mentality, that's not your look. You're putting other people's style on your photo. All right, with LUTs, and that's a similar thing, but if you build your own LUT and your own look, that is your look. But when you're just clicking through all other looks that every other photographer in the world can do, it's not really your look. So
I prefer filters.
yeah, I know you prefer. Yeah, it's an easy way, but you'll find that, and I found even with playing with cinematography LUTs. So it's out of some of my favourite movies that had certain looks about. So I loved Drive. Was it Driver? It was Drive, I think, with Ryan Gosling. I love that teal orange look, but also love the look that Tarantino got once upon a time in Hollywood. Is that you'll click through and this looks good and this looks good and they both look good, but neither of them are your style. They're styles taken from someone else and put onto your picture. So I rather build my own look over time. So I have started playing with LUTs, but I snuck a picture up the other day with a LUT on and nobody picked it as any different to mine. So it was not even Beck knew. But I basically built the LUT out of 4 other LUTs. And I was going to do something definitely on the Inspire, and I'll do something for YouTube as well, I think, on working and playing with LUTs within Photoshop. And well, I've just done a new tutorial about how to make a LUT. So yeah, I'll build on that further because I think it's a way that it's an easy way that you can make filters for your own, for yourself, and then it can be your look.
Someone's calling you.
That's right.
Everyone's letting me know it was Sir Richard Branson before.
That's right, that's who we're talking about.
No, I had no idea.
Yeah. Oh, the pictures were amazing though. They were pretty cool.
I'll have a look. I'll look it up afterwards if I'm curious.
Can't believe, I actually said to you, I'm busy.
Well,
I was trying to tell you to watch it and you go, I'm busy.
I've been busy. Got a lot of stuff to do. Corey said that they just discovered Peter Lindbergh and that you reminded him.
I love Peter Lindbergh work.
That's really
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it is really nice.
Really nice.
I think there'll be a little bit of Peter Lindbergh in my work. In fact, there's three photographers would be strong in my work, and it would be Peter Lindbergh, Alan von Unwerth, and Helmut Newton. In my real work, they're the ones that really influence me the most. Peter Lindbergh's look and style, but the storytelling and the messed upness of Alan von Unwerth and Helmut Newton.
Before when we were talking about printing, did you mention a brand that you used, or did we forget to what?
Well,
You use Epson, don't you?
A brand of printer,
Yeah.
or I have an Epson.
Yes.
I can't remember the number. I used to have those 34, 5400, some of the big friggin'
one?
things. I got a slightly smaller one, but we really don't print. Like I print for my man cave, we print for the odd client. But anything bigger, like the stuff we did with Dave Bromley, that was printed through my printer. And yeah, basically I just send the file, and he's really, really good. He just puts the best paper and.
How do you get a super sharp image of an eye macro in black and white? Any recommendation?
If I wanted to.
Yes.
Well, yeah, if you want it super sharp, I would say get yourself a super sharp lens. You don't want to do the sharpening in Photoshop or in your RAW. You need to capture it sharp. And you've got to find a way of getting light to enhance the patterning within the eye. So it's just a matter of you setting up your lighting based on the look you're trying to get in the eye.
Any thoughts on the Nikon mirrorless series of cameras? Do you
Haven't touched one. So again, we're not really a review channel. That
I was about to say, if anyone now wants to ask about the Fujis, which I'm probably jinxing it.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I just, if I'm unhappy with cameras, or even if someone brought there's a really good chance if someone brought any camera into the studio, the chances of me using it is going to be pretty low because we're so busy.
And you're happy with what you've got. So you haven't used one. He hasn't used one.
I haven't used one, and
Fuji.
I love Nikon, so I've got nothing against Nikon. But I haven't needed to. If Sony went crap, like if something else changed, we went to a different thing, or if the reason I went to Sony is because of mirrorless, and they just jumped the gun 4 years early. And I liked what they did in the early days. That's why I jumped on them, and that's why I left Canon. So if we went to a new style of capturing image, that all of a sudden Canon or Nikon was the leader, and I really liked what they do, I'd mostly jump onto that.
Yeah. You started with film. Can you remember when you made the jump to digital? Was it a fast transition, or did you use both at the same time for a while? And do you miss those days?
It wasn't a fast transition because the magazines I was working with hated digital. They hated the colour of digital. They said it was not natural colour. Whereas it was very interesting.
You'd think that they would have been like, oh, this is so much like an easier way of working, let's get everyone to...
Their workflow wasn't that way. They were working trannies, and the thing was, if you were using Provia or Volvia or Kodak,
the colours were
the colour of the boxes was the colour of the picture. So there was no natural colour. In fact, anything digital was more like a true colour.
True.
It wasn't a quick transition. I tried 4 or 5 different cameras in the early days just playing. I was shooting on a Canon EOS 3 and an EOS 1 at the time. And I loved those, but I did also love the whole thing of not having to have the pictures scanned to do light Photoshop work and things like that. So it was an interesting time, it was a fun time. Once I got my Canon, I think it was either a D60 or a 60D, I can't remember what it was called. It was a 6 megapixel, it cost me like $11,000 back then. It was like the EOS 1 digital. Once I had that, the magazines I was working with said, yes, we'll accept not cropped versions of this. And I said, well, most of my work doesn't get cropped anyway. I tended to shoot in camera the final size. And the transition happened pretty quick from there. Once I started seeing the ease of use and how many pictures I had a choice of, very quickly the magazines I was working for transitioned really, basically said, yeah, the digital stuff we're getting in from our contributors is so much easier than the film versions now.
When you compose a photo, how much academic thought do you give it at this point of your career? Is everything instinct?
Yes. I do a little bit of technical to make sure I've got the picture sitting within the boundaries of being able to change my mind later on about something. So I'm not going to go super bright and blow everything out if I might tend to want to maybe pull it down to low key or vice versa. But sometimes, like the pictures of Anne in Paris with the bunny head on in the dark doorways, I purposely shot them like 2 stops under because that's the look I liked, and that's the only way this picture was ever going to get used. So yeah, quite often it's instinct, and there's a voice that's in my head saying things, and if I have the right model, I can then really create that. And if I have the wrong model, I've just got to tell my voice to go away.
Sadly, no Australian F1 this year.
No. I don't know if you see, so I'm wearing a McLaren Ricardo wind cheater. Yeah, but no, I was very, very bummed about that. So last year, missing out on F1 in Australia, in USA and Mexico, and then this year missing out on all of them again.
So that sucks.
Anyways, hopefully Ricardo goes. He's getting better.
You love your cars.
Norris is doing amazing. Yeah.
What's the story on the background behind you? Paint or concrete? It is
Paint.
wood and paint.
Wood and paint, and there's a tutorial showing how we do it.
And we painted it, yes. And do you ever use Lightroom for non-destructive editing? Can't stand it, stick to Photoshop. No, Peter doesn't even have Lightroom installed on any of his computers.
I had this argument with lots of people, and I've always proved them wrong. If you just get a picture, put it into Lightroom, export it out as 16-bit TIFF, don't do anything with it. Take the same picture into ACR, don't do anything with it, export it out as 16-bit TIFF, open them up side by side in Photoshop, you'll never use Lightroom again.
Do either of us get approached by sponsors to try or flog new gear? And if so, how do we decide what to try or discuss in a video or not? We
get lots of junky stuff.
Yeah. Well, the thing we get the most is backdrops.
Backdrop.
But Peter likes to create his own, and
yeah. Well, I'm not going to use the backdrop everyone else shoots with. I'm not a snob, but
it's what sets your photos apart.
Some of the best studios in the world have a stairwell or a wall that becomes their iconic.
It's their feature thing for that studio, so you only get to shoot that if you go to that studio, and that's, I guess, what a lot of your walls are here. So we just have a look at if it's going to be useful, if it's because we don't do reviews, so
90% of the time we just say no. We get stuff sent to us. I had a guy who brought in some camera bag stuff, and I said, I don't think I'll ever use it. And he goes, it doesn't matter, you can have it.
No.
And it was like $500 of camera bags, and I looked at it, and it was made reasonably well, but I've got my owner bags, which I love, the leather bags, so I didn't want to change, and he was 100% happy if I never used it. Did get sent something the other day, and we only said yes, you can send them out. I said to Becky, if they want them returned, no, not interested in them.
You got the lights we did the video with?
The lights we did the video with. What are they called?
No, that's the website's called My Fun Leader. The whites are called iWater, I think.
iWater, yeah.
I've got links in the last video, the colour one of me, so if you want to see those lights and have get them yourself, the links and that.
Well, they turned up.
We're not sponsored, by the way.
They look pretty good. They were very quick to learn the menu system. I had a very quick play just on my own with them and thought, oh, I could do something. We did the thing with Beck. And then on the shoot yesterday, I actually used them, and they were amazing.
Those are awesome. Yeah, they're really good lights.
So for that side of things, yes, but we don't want to be a review channel. No. And I'm always looking for something cool to use. I would have never ever used a roto light by looking at them in a shop. To me, they just look like cheap stuff I wouldn't use. Yeah. But when I got the distributor in Australia dropped me out one, said have a play, and it became one of my favourite to use in low light or at night time.
Fred said, check this out. Yesterday I found some colour negatives of the Georgia satellites they shot 35 years ago, but never saw the images until yesterday, and it turned out great. What a long wait. Do negatives last that long?
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
I don't know, I didn't think they would.
So they're looked after. Haven't you seen that massive auction that's just been on they found...
If it's on the news, I don't watch the news. Ow.
Oh, yeah, they found all these amazing pictures, from the turn of the century, and they're just incredible photos. They're just under a bed.
Huh, that's crazy. That's cool. Didn't know that. Charles says that they notice a lot of time you shoot with just one light from above. Any ideas how they can still get a solid catch light in the eye? Do they need a second light?
Yeah, if you're all about catch lights, just get a second light. And you don't have to have it turned up very much. A specular highlight. So, if you look at a piece of chrome, and you'll always see, it doesn't matter how bright the light source is on it, it always has that specular highlights in it. So you'll find just a light turned down quite low will give you that look without affecting the lighting on the face. But I'm not really, in fact, there's a couple of my favorite looks, and it's more a fashion thing, is where half the light eye is lit through a down light, but you can't see any highlight in the eye. I really enjoy that look. So half the eye's covered with shadow, half the eye's lit from the angle, but you can't see the catch light.
Cool.
But you would have seen, I think that t-shirt shot that I did with Natasha yesterday was that type of look.
Yeah. Yes.
That rain's getting heavy again,
It
sorry.
is. I'm really sorry, everyone, about the rain.
We've got a big tin roof, which is 7 metres up, so it just echoes.
Yeah. We're a bit overexposed as
Bit
well.
overexposed. So the rain's coming, it's turned up the light.
Let's turn it up again.
I'm not understanding English. We're not talking English, we're talking Australian.
Peter doesn't understand English either.
No.
We're talking English. Peter doesn't understand it either, that's why I'm here.
I'm talking Australian.
There's no such, I don't think
I
there's
don't
such a thing.
talk pompous.
There's no such thing. The difference between Lightroom and ACR is what's called the Melissa curve. It adds more contrast, apparently. So does it actually add more as you bring photos in?
What I was told by a very high up person in Adobe was your picture comes into Lightroom and turned into a DNG. When you go in through ACR, it's worked at as a raw level from your camera raw. So that's why I've been told it's a difference, but I don't, it doesn't worry me what it's doing, how it's doing. All I'm doing is the picture. Anybody who's used Lightroom, you load a picture, it loads, you go, I like that, then it reloads and you go, ugh, what just happened to it? Where if you use ACR, it doesn't do that, and that's why I use ACR.
Fair enough.
Anyway, there's rumours that Lightroom will be going soon, so
Really?
yeah. They'll do a raw version of Photoshop.
Interesting. Corey would like to know, do you have to challenge yourself even more now, considering how competitive photography has become?
I don't have competitors. I'm not being arrogant about that, but I don't see any other photographers my competitor. Yeah. Even when the client comes in, Beck sees a client comes in, we're never talking about competing with other people's prices, or I'm never saying I do this and they don't do that.
Yeah, or like, well, what have they offered you? And
or
all?
what, I have got no idea who they've spoken to before. And we got something coming through yesterday, a boating company wants me to shoot some stuff for them.
Yeah.
I'll just ring up and say, this are my views, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I would do. I don't have a competitor. I shoot what I want. Hopefully
so are you challenging yourself even more now? No. You're just doing what you do.
I do what I do, except I can't do what I want to do.
Yeah. Yes, people in America keep saying they will swap our weather because they're going through a heat wave over there right now. I would happily swap with the heat wave. I hate the cold.
You don't like heat waves either.
No, I don't mind them.
You don't mind them.
It's fine. I love it. I love the heat. I was born in the desert. Fine. I got this. I hate the cold. I'm a witch. I burn in the rain. Isn't that a thing?
I thought you were a vampire. You burn in the sun.
Yeah, but
I don't know, do witches burn in the rain?
apparently if you like, I don't know, there was something if you throw...
There's no such thing as a witch.
Yes, there is.
Next.
Can we get your opinion, please, on how to make an agreement with how to make a fashion shoot with a company? At which point do you have to be careful?
Everything I do is in an email of this is what I'm going to do and this is what I'm expected. Anything I leave out of an email, if it goes pear-shaped, that's my fault for not making it clear in an email. As long as you've got a written chain and you can make sure that someone's answered that email, so then you know the email was read, that's normally enough. There's your commercial and legal contracts, but you should have your own. There's no off-the-shelf version of that. My contract's basically on usage. So it's just, with my quote, we'll say, it's going to cost you this much for this much for this, this much for this. we don't know how you're going to use those images. When you tell us how you're going to use those images, we can give you a quote on usage. So yeah, we sort of keep it as simple and dumbed down as possible.
Keep everything in writing though as well, because, excuse me, I think that's the one thing I don't like is if it's a conversation on the phone, things can...
Yeah, it's easy you didn't say that.
Yeah.
Everything, so we might have a phone...
I'd have a phone call, but then put everything in writing and send it. Yeah. That's probably the best way to tackle things. Have you ever used a classic 1930s Hollywood style lighting for any of your previous work?
Yeah, I used to do some flapper girl type work years and years ago, and I got a couple of books on that style of photography. It was fun to do, but it's not really my look. Yeah, I don't go for a timestamp of my look. I have a bit of a timestamp of the type of models I want, but my look, it should be just my look. It's what I like to do, and I keep on doing stuff till it looks like how I like it to look. Yeah, it's weird. I have a folder full of pictures I like looking at. So my look has evolved from that folder. And pretty much as soon as I do something that doesn't look like my work, it stands out like...
A sore thumb.
Well, even that everyone was wrapped with, the album cover we just did, that is so much not my look.
Oh yeah, totally not.
But the pictures, everyone raved about the picture, but if you put that in my folder, you just go, Peter didn't shoot that.
It's like even some,
no, a lot of my
latest
commercial...
colour one you did for me.
It's not really my look.
But it still fits in there, it doesn't stand out too much.
Oh yeah, but I think that could be the model. Well, in so many of my pictures, you've become part of my look. I have to fix that.
No, it's fun.
No,
Is that a soundboard next to Peter's right? How does that factor into your workflow? So, do they mean the Stream Deck? Or do they mean the soundboard?
Well,
they can't see
this
that.
Is my right. Oh, they can just see the corner of it. Yeah, it's just a Behringer mixer, so it's a...
That's just for our
8-channel mixer. So
our
this
mics
is
that we have on. But we only use it for lives.
Yeah, I only get used for lives.
And then this.
And I have a little mini mixer at home which I use for my music.
And then this is the switcher if we're using multiple cameras.
So that allows us to have up to 5 cameras that we can just switch.
And then this is a
Stream Deck.
Stream Deck that allows me to flick between the camera or Peter's computer screen. Live streaming pro.
How many stuff ups did we get before we got it sort of half right?
Well, I didn't stress this time, so that's fine. We've caught up.
You've caught up?
Yeah. Caught up.
Oh, good.
We've still got people watching us though.
Still got people watching us. Maybe they've gone to sleep. Maybe. Well, this rain is starting to get... Although I don't know if it's going to get... Comes and goes.
Comes and goes.
Well, I reckon... Oh, here we go. They're firing up. I think everyone's... Oh, maybe your bot has just blocked everybody.
No, it tells me when they're blocked. It blocks them. Well, I didn't need to block... I didn't need to block that many, but I think also I put a new setting on in the settings that slowed the chat down as well.
Oh, right.
So I think...
Yeah, that bot, the last one we did was like horrendous.
If anyone was here during that, I'm so sorry, that was the worst thing ever. That was very panicky.
Oh, we've got someone from Ireland. I wonder if he knows Dave.
Oh my God. Fred would like to know, do you advertise at all, or is your business just word of mouth?
Word of mouth.
Except your actual photography.
Photography. Have you ever seen me advertise it anywhere? No. Like even a web page, it's just a gallery page.
Yeah. I used to do Facebook ads for workshops and Inspire, but I don't even do that.
We don't even do that anymore. Yeah.
So no, we don't advertise at all.
No. We're tight ass. No. It's just that it doesn't... Look at all the ads, like half your feeds are full of ads. You don't even look at them, and there's so much crap out there at the moment. You read the ad and it looks amazing. It turns up and it's just crap. So yeah, I think word of mouth, and it's the same with my clients. my clients come in, I don't need to sell them what I do. Someone else has already done that. Well, the one that sent me an email yesterday was based on a previous company that used me and actually said, Peter did this for us, it was amazing, it was so easy, you need to talk to this photographer. And you know, you've already had someone who's a friend of someone recommend.
So
you don't
they're
need to
going
go,
to be at the trusting level of
Yep.
truth. Corey's going to school of photography and terrified to approach women to photograph them. How do you do it?
I can't do it in the street.
Don't physically approach. Oh, well, this, okay, so we posted a thing on Inspire about finding models, and I was speaking to a photographer and they said they do that approach and it works for them, but me and Peter both said that we personally don't. So that's, me as a girl, I would find it a bit, I don't know, I'd find it a bit weird.
I can't do it.
So it's just me, but if someone messages me on Instagram, it's just send them a message on Instagram. Just say, hey, I'd really like to take photos of you. I'm just starting. Just send a nice little message to them and hope they reply. If they don't reply, don't get too disheartened by it. Don't pester them. But yeah, just a quick message saying, hey, I found your Instagram and I love your look. I'd love to take your photo if you're interested.
Yeah, and I think if you make it really so they don't have to worry in the way of, say, you can pick the style, you can pick the clothing, you can pick everything for the first shoot. Let's see if you like how I work, and then we can take it from there. So you may be giving away the first shoot and not going to get anything you particularly want, but you made a connection with the model that should come back and then shoot something more in the style of what you're after.
Yeah. But a simple Instagram message, a nice Instagram message never hurt anyone.
Yeah, chat says slow mode is on.
Should I turn it off? No.
Well, I think you most can now because we haven't. That your bot thing should fix that, shouldn't it?
I think so.
Well,
my bot thing.
Your bot thing.
Alright, I'll turn it off. Turn off slow mode. So, okay. Anyways, where was I? I hope that helps. If not, if you want more help with it, you can shoot us an email or something. I think that answered it. Whoa, slow mode is off. Whoa, okay. I'm scared now. Do you do photography in your spare time, photography for yourself rather than for customers?
Yes. Yeah, no, photography is still my hobby. As long as I can do, as long as I'm doing it for me. It's like I used to hear some mates of mine who did wedding photography. They'd get up and they'd do their talks at some events and crap and say how they love wedding photography so much. It's their best thing ever. And every time I said to them, so on a weekend that you had off, would you go and photograph someone's wedding for nothing? And they go, no. Well, I said, well, I would definitely go into my studio or go out with a model or with a subject to shoot something cool. Yeah, I'd do that 7 days a week.
Is there a new camera or lens or photo technology out there that you really want to try?
Well, I have the new A1 and love it. I think the only thing I was very interested in trying is the new Sony 135. I think it's an f1.2, but I don't think I need it. I just would like to play with it, but I really don't think I need it. So that would be about the only thing. Other
than that, you're pretty content?
Yeah, look, I'm pretty happy with the video stuff I'm doing. I'm really loving using the Zeiss Batis lenses.
I've got a Batis on this and it looks really nice.
I've got the gimbal I'm really liking that I'm using at the moment. The new cage that I've set up,
that thing,
I really enjoyed using that. The only thing is I might want to get a new ATEM screen for that. It's about the only thing on my radar that I want to actually get.
Your radar.
Yeah, my wish list is actually empty for camera gear. There's no camera gear on my wish list.
I think your wish list is your stuff for your sim.
Are you looking at my wish list?
It's sim stuff. It's all for the sim.
No, it's not. Top one.
And a dress for the studio.
Just for the studio. my Ferrari wheel, which I've ordered from a sim.
For your sim.
A
New
3D
computer.
printer, but I don't know if I'd use it enough.
Hey, why do you want a 3D printer?
So I'd like to make stuffs. I could 3D print a new camera.
You're so
It's
silly.
nearly 12.
It is nearly 12.
2 more minutes and I can have an iced tea.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Devin says, hey, I've been a professional photographer / videographer for 2 decades, don't advertise it all, it's word of mouth. So, yeah. I agree with you.
It's really like when you're starting off, you've got to get some work out there, but I don't really show much of my paid work.
Well, that's weird. Someone asked the other day for
Oh, yeah, they wanted to see my finished paid work.
they wanted to see it like on the billboard or on the magazine, and it was just still one of your photos, but it just had text over the top of it. So
Yeah, I said I don't understand
why, but
what you wanted to see, but here's one of the pictures on the cover of a magazine. It's the same picture.
it was a bit odd.
But yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of the commercial work, it's because it's
Yeah, and that was what I was going with that. You don't want to show your commercial work.
well, now and then when I've got clients, like someone like a leader lets me do whatever I like, and I showed those Shay pictures.
Yeah.
And so they come out cool. So clients that let me do what I want to do, yeah, I share them. But as soon as there's an art director there or there's someone saying, oh, can we do this to this? It's not my photo anymore.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Referring to studio shoots, do you ever use full frame 35mm style cameras, or is it always medium format?
Only the reason that in the studio, if I'm using natural light and it's low light or there's something on do, I have pulled the Sony out a few times. I've shot a few times with 2 cameras, medium format and the
Yes,
Sony
yes.
running around for a different type of a look. The real main reason that I love the medium format look, but my workflow just works. And my client loves seeing the picture instantly come up on the computer screen exactly how it's going to look finished. So when I'm in the studio, I tend to pick up the Hasselblad for that reason. But there's plenty of times when I'm not with clients where I'll just pull out the Sony and we did the other day, we just shot with the backlight on you with the Sony.
I don't know why I'm sneezing so much.
Are you allergic to wine?
No, I'm not. No, it's dry July. I'm not drinking. What?
It's at Ribena.
It's tasty. Oh my gosh, I can't stop sneezing.
A tube.
I'm so sorry, everyone. How many years did it take for folks to stop asking price and only seek you out for your style? People still ask price.
Yeah. People still ask price, but we don't. Like the client came in the other day and we did a quick test to their concern. They're having trouble with the web designers building their new site. So they came in and we did a couple of test shots so they could go back with the images. And I just rolled off my price like just off the top of my tongue. They didn't blink. And I know it was a high price for them, but they didn't blink. It was sort of like, yeah, well, we expect to pay that for this type of... Yeah, if you're worrying about price, it means that you're not comfortable with your price. I think that's the best way to put it.
We get lots of questions about pricing.
Yeah, look, because everyone's scared to know it. And then, Beck, you've heard me ripping some friends of my photographers apart for quoting way too low.
Yeah.
So
Then it puts other photographers.
yeah, just ridiculously. That is just so below industry rates that you're actually bottom feeding. You're dragging the industry down.
Yeah, and then everyone expects every photographer is going to be that cheap, and
Yeah, and you can't afford a new computer and you can't afford a new lens. That's because of the rates you're working for. You're never going to afford good gear.
Totally. How did your photography business change after you started YouTubing? Is the core work dependent on YouTube, or are the two things separate? They're separate.
They're separate, yeah. YouTube is... originally did some YouTubing. Well, we were running YouTubes a long time ago because it's just something fun we did, but we really didn't take it serious. I think we put up one every 6 months or something.
Yeah.
Then with Inspire in there, we used YouTube a little bit to spread the word of what we were doing with Inspire. Then when the pandemic broke out, we lost 90 or 80% of our work, 90% of our work instantly. So we needed to build our Inspire traffic up so I could keep employing back. So we started doing some YouTube stuff, and then we actually started enjoying pushing across my philosophies about art and photography and trying to get away from that camera club type of look, trying to go more for the real world aren't photographers. The people who are going to buy your work aren't photographers. So I just wanted to try and get people away from that thinking that they have to do things by rules, because we don't have rules in art. Well, there shouldn't be any rules in art, and there shouldn't be any critiquing in art. That's this artist's style, and either people like it and buy it, or people don't like it and they go bankrupt. Shit, rain has got very heavy.
It has gotten very heavy. I'm very sorry, everyone.
It's raining ice cubes. So I went a little bit crooked on that, but if you're trying to keep photographers happy, you're not going to get much work, because 99% of the people who employ you won't be photographers, because they're out doing their own work.
But it's photographers that always want to tell you that they don't like your work.
Yeah, but then I'm finding, and Beck and I have found a lot on YouTube, and the community that we've started to create is we've got people out there that have gone through the school thing, they've gone through the camera club thing, they've gone through the YouTube thing, and everyone wants to keep putting these rules up and saying you have to do all this stuff based on the rules. Now become unique, have your own look in this tiny little box. It's so hard to have a look in a tiny little box. So the best thing is to get out of that box and really just do what you really enjoy looking at yourself, and ignore the rules. Sorry about that.
Sorry about the rain. Are we a bit dark?
Would you do workshops in Sydney, Australia?
Yeah.
We can't. We're locked out.
They didn't say can we, they said would you.
Yeah, we do. We normally, we didn't last year, but we normally do workshop in Sydney every year. And once lockdowns are open, we've got scheduled, well, we did have it scheduled for
end of
August, but now with the latest outbreak, we've had to just can that.
Yeah, it was end of, we're going to do that, yeah. So that's irritating.
This rain is very irritating. I hope this noise isn't too loud for you.
I'm sorry if it is, guys. We can't do much about it. I wish I could turn it off. It was fine before, and then it came back.
Yeah.
Can I check the radar?
Yeah, the radar's up on the other.
I use a different one. I don't understand your one.
But yeah, in the end of things is.
It's going to go in a minute.
It's going in a minute, is it?
Yeah.
Right. You have to, running any business, you have to learn to adapt with the times. Nobody knew that the pandemic was going to hit. Nobody knew the GFC was going to hit. There's going to be things that are going to change the way your business is and the way you do business. And for you to survive, you've got to find ways to survive the ups and downs. And I normally say, try and live, you work your business like I live my life, which is rule of thirds. Even though I don't use rule of thirds in photography, I do with my business and my life, which means try and have 3 areas of income within your business. So if one dies, the other 2 still should keep you alive. And it also keeps some more interest into your own life, because you have those 3 fingers. So I have my commercial side, I have our educational side, which is workshops and Inspire, and we never planned it, it just evolved. And then I have my own art And that's the stuff that is selling of prints or shooting stuff for me is that's my rule of thirds. So with that, YouTube has now taken up a part of our educational side of things, because I've actually enjoyed opening it up so you guys out there can actually say, I love this picture, but I don't want to put it up because it's out of focus and everyone's going to tell me it's out of focus. Whereas everybody I know who's not a photographer looks at it and loves it. Well, that's who your clients are going to be. And one thing is, if you have trolls or these people that think they need to tell you what they don't like about your photo, like they do whenever Led Zeppelin brings out a new album, they ring up Led Zeppelin and go, I don't like that song, why did you put that song on that album? So I don't get people like this, and Beck's laughing because...
I know who you're talking about.
So with that, a real artist would never tell another artist what to do with their work, because I'd understand that that's my work. If I was a painter or a photographer or a musician, is everything that I enjoy. So that's what I do. And as soon as I change one thing to make you happy, that's not mine anymore.
I don't know what question you were answering.
No. Still on the YouTube question.
Okay.
I ranted.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, you brought out my iced tea. You know what happens when I get iced tea.
You do enjoy that little iced tea. So, Peter, are you using the Mac Automator for your backup scheme? What's the Mac Automator?
No, I have my own backup.
Yeah, your backup system.
My backup is on my folders. I have colour dots on folders, and it tells me how many times it's backed up and where it's backed up to. So it's a manual system, because I've been caught out by auto systems before that you thought it was backing stuff up, it wasn't, whereas I can just look at a folder and say that's not backed up, or I need to back that up because it doesn't have a dot on it.
I wish the rain would stop. What are your thoughts on the Nikon Z mirrorless cameras? Peter hasn't used one of them and doesn't really have any plans to. Nothing against Nikon, it's just he's happy with what he's using.
Yeah, it's like in the last 5 years, I don't think I've driven any car than mine.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like, I don't have a need to go out and play with other cameras. I haven't even seen reviews on it, so I can't even comment on that. So I'm not sure, I really don't know.
Daryl would like to know, when going into a photo shoot, do you have a vision in your mind based on your look? Also, they imagine you have a folder with your favourite photos. Could you explain what was going through your mind when shooting?
All right, so if I'm going into a commercial shoot, I've normally got a picture in my mind based on what my client has given me storyboard and what we've discussed about. It's not set in stone, it's just an idea where I'm going to start. If I'm shooting a model for the first time, I have a rough idea what I think I might do with her, but then normally she picks the mood board out, and then I'll look at the folder
that you've got.
And then I'll look at the mood board and see if she opened up a new area I could go with her or whatever. When it's my work, I like walking into a blank canvas and then letting something evolve. I don't like putting too much, because as soon as you say this, you tend to, there might be something that's really obvious that would be better, but you're too locked into this. And I really enjoyed listening to Nick Knight talk about his last campaign he did with Bollinger, I think it was, Champagne, and Lady Gaga. The art director or ad department, whatever, said, so we haven't seen any mood boards or style sheets, what are you going to do? He goes, we'll just see what happens on the day. And that's how he works. He got Lady Gaga in, he had a whole heap of gowns, I think they were Queen gowns and things like that. And they just let the shoot evolve, and the final pictures are incredible because they had this, what are you doing?
Taking a photo for Instagram, saying live.
Oh.
Sorry, keep going.
Oh my God. So the pictures ended up doing great. They actually had the reflection of the Lady Gaga gown into the Bollinger bottle, which looked really cool. So yeah, I love letting things evolve. In fact, that's my preferred way of working.
Yeah. And
Cats and dogs and kangaroos, yeah, I think it's about to start raining alligators and great white sharks.
I think it's letting off, and it sounds like it's getting lighter. Has your passion always been models and fashion? I guess passion used to be fish.
No, I was running a fishing company. So
We loved it. We loved the little fishies.
the little fishies.
Little
I loved
fishies.
them so much I stopped fishing because I didn't want to hurt them.
See, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not lying.
I really feel, since I would call myself a commercial photographer, my passion is shooting people and based around fashion and dance and my messed up stories that I have in my head, but still sitting more in that fashion dance environment. I think that's the best way I can answer it.
Yeah. How old is Beck and how long has she been working with you? I am as old as I act, and that is 4. No, I'm 28. And I've been Peter's assistant for 3 years, but we've been shooting since I was 17.
Yeah,
Just
that
about
was
to turn 18?
17 was when it was with your sister, the makeup shoot,
Well, I
wasn't
think
it?
I was
think
just
you were
about to-
18 when you
But I was
first shot.
just about to turn 18, I think, when I first met you. So I've been shooting with him for just over 10 years and assisting for 3.
Time for a change.
Hey.
Hey.
Where do you get your inspiration?
Life.
Life.
Yeah, serious life. Yeah, stupid little things. I saw 2 people carrying bunches of flowers down the road in Brussels, and that image just stuck in my head, and I wrote in my mood board, 2 people carrying flowers in Brussels.
And
I know every time I read that line, I know the shoot I want to do with that one day. So yeah, everything gives me inspiration. You read a line, you listen to a song, you see something with your eyes. So visuals will always come into my head, and they sort of get stored, and then one day someone walks in and says, oh, we've got this gown, and all of a sudden that gown reminds me of something else, and there's inspiration for a shoot.
G-Max said we both have great chemistry together, and I always look forward to another video.
Chemistry. I was good with science. Couldn't spell though. So I
we
couldn't
do
read the
without
bottles
stuff
very well, so I blew
okay.
something up once.
What, wait, I think
I couldn't read the chemicals and I mixed the wrong chemicals.
you said bottles and my mind went to something else.
Oh, alcohol. Yeah, I mix them up all the time.
Jeff said he's so happy to have discovered you as he feels this is a safe space. Yes, always. Even our Facebook group as well, that is just a place for you to share your work and not have to...
Yeah, it's our group. We don't want people critiquing other people's photos. We just want people to put up their very best photo from a shoot and say, hey, I'm proud of this.
proud of this.
And nobody has to comment or do anything, but it gives you a safe place that we moderate. Although we find most of the people know what our space is about, so we don't get those comments that I would have cropped that differently.
I would have done this.
I would have cropped that differently too, but that's not my photo, so I would not have cropped that differently. Cats and dogs are back.
Cats and dogs are back. I'm very sorry.
We're gonna build.
Someone said this sounds good enough.
All right, cool. Because of this, we've got an empty office upstairs. We're going to
turn
convert
that into our live booth.
into a sound booth.
Our live booth.
All right, off you go.
John says, hi, hello. Big issue he has is marketing, finding and approaching them. What is your recommendation? I'm confident with work and price.
The issue with marketing?
Yeah, finding and approaching them.
Again, the people find me, I don't tend to chase, but if I was chasing, I find little tricks that don't feel like ads.
Like what?
Well, when I was first doing stuff for model portfolios, back when models actually paid to have them done, the favourite picture out of the day got printed onto a business card, my business card, and they got given 20 of them. So they had 20 of their own photos with my details, and you'd give them to them, and they would hand them to their friends.
Yeah.
And yeah, that you knew they didn't get thrown away by the person you gave it to because they wanted to share that photo. So that got me, when I was doing stuff for some real estate for a little bit, I basically tried to do something a little bit different to what others were doing, so I had a style, and I would give a discount to the real estate agents that let me have my company name on the photo. So then when other real estate agents, because they will look at the photos, that would, you know, drag me a little bit more. So there's ways of doing things which is like soft promotion, and I look at things like that. One thing I did in the very early days, I made sure every single person I bumped in knew that I was a photographer by the time I left them. So it might even just be a checkout chick in the supermarket. And I wouldn't say, hey, I'm a photographer.
Yeah.
I would find a way of putting into a discussion for them to ask me, what do you do? So they've asked for you to tell them what you do, and it's amazing how much work you pick up out of little things.
Yeah. Interesting. Fred would like to know, what is your favourite music, both of you?
Music.
What's your favourite music?
Music.
Oh, you just like
No,
Peter likes everything.
I like lots, but I'm a bit bored at the moment. No one's bringing out anything that's exciting me, but I used to, well, I still love metal and old rock. I still really enjoy stuff like Deadmau5, Psytrance, except for some of the stuff that Beck backs.
Like what? A bash?
Sorry, you bash.
A bash?
That's
my favourite. That's such a good song.
I'm pretty much all over it. The only thing, country and western's one I really, and opera can't quite, I can handle it a little bit, but not heaps.
My favourite is progressive psychedelic trance. Its proper name.
With a bowl of mushrooms.
That is its proper name. Or as I just call it, prog psytrance. Or prog psy. Or prog.
I get bored really quick, so yeah, for ages Deadmau5 was like one of the best, but he's not doing anything, so I'm already bored of all his old stuff. I want something new. Like Skrillex, I really liked when he came out, I loved what he was doing.
I'm really into Porter Robinson at the moment. He's really good. I'm surprised you haven't got any
soft. No,
but he's like kind of experimental.
Yeah, he's a bit soft.
He's kind of in that.
No, it's not different enough.
What about Io? Did you like Io?
Yeah, I didn't mind Io. Still, it's not different enough. Heard it before.
We both like
melody lines.
Melodies.
But I did enjoy listening to my old crap yesterday with some Manson and some 9 Inch Nails and Tool and Perfect Circle cool. And yeah, System of the Downs. Yeah, where did we get up to?
What was your journey of discovering your style like? What are some important questions to ask yourself?
I didn't go out to hunt it, it just happens, but you need to shoot a lot. You need to shoot a lot of what you like that haven't been influenced by other people. And your style will vary, and Beck's seen my really early shit. It's sort of, it's like the worst photography in the world, don't worry.
Like that From Little Things, Big Things Gross song comes to mind.
My early stuff, I guarantee you, it was worse than anything you've photographed. Like, I knew what I was doing when I was shooting bands when I was really young. My transition into the commercial world was just, I was just shooting to do with what my business was about, and I was capturing it in the way I wanted to project my business, and magazines liked it and then started booking me to shoot stuff in that same style. When I went into fashion and that, it was really like starting at square one, and because I had no idea what I was doing and not using good hair and makeup, not using good stylists, not using good models, I was doing anything I could to try and make a picture work. So I'd spend 5 hours clicking on this button to see what it did. Did it make the picture better? And some of the stuff I did was just revolting. Like, but
I wish I could show them that way.
We can.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
I'll find one really revolting picture so they can see what I mean by. We all have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And
But even like going through Peter's old old folder, if you scroll through it, eventually you can see more and
a
more.
style starting
It
to
starts,
evolve.
and you can see like the one photo dotted here and there, and then all of a sudden you just see more and more of them come in. So it's interesting.
I'm just looking for safety reasons.
Yeah, so we can't show you.
No,
the
that
whole
all looks
folder.
pretty safe, doesn't it? And that's really at my worst, isn't it?
Was it when you first started? Should we flick it? No. No.
Well, that wasn't very first. I don't know why that's up there. It should be in alphabetical, in date order. But yeah, we can flick it.
Flick it. So this is where Peter started.
These are like some of my others. So this was for a next door neighbour who does jewellery. That's our next door neighbour.
Oh.
That's her jewellery company. These were a couple of test shots for models.
Nikki.
And this model went on to become like, well, this actually, that was a big break, that actual shoot. I was nowhere near good enough to do that. But I was doing things like this, where superimposing, pixelating like crazy, thinking this was so cool. So not. I shot a calendar for, she wasn't a model, but she wanted to do a calendar for her husband. It was just a family friend. It was a paid shoot. So yeah, some of this is way out of order. Yeah, DJs, they used to do Rainbow Serpent.
Oh.
So it was this sort of stuff. It was horrible. When I get into me trying to be creative and artistic, like, what was I thinking?
What is that?
Yeah, over Photoshop piece of crap. And then stepping into fashion. Oh, this was corporate work.
That's
so
fine.
this was, yeah, for corporate work it's fine. And that's where I still had my skills of photography, but I got a little bit lost with trying, like, hair and makeup shoots. I know you could get all these people, but my God, it's no good for the model's folio. It's no good for my folio. It's no good for the makeup artist's folio, because nobody's going to ring them up and say, hey, I want that sort of makeup on me.
Yeah.
So I made a mistake early on by doing a lot of work with hair and makeup artists, and I did stupid things like plastic wrap. It's the only way I could make a really bad picture good, and over liquefied. Oh my
gosh,
God.
how much did you over
I
liquefy?
did like heaps. And then just working with, she was like a friend of a friend's sister, and she wanted this gothic-y shoot. But this is how we learn our skills. Then every now and then, you know, that picture to me was like, I don't know how I came up with this idea. He was a bodybuilder and that was his son.
Oh, that's
And that picture is still massive in
there.
their wall. So
Yeah.
start of my early fashion starting to come through, and then my quirkiness started coming in.
Yeah.
I started to then show some of my quirky side of things, but yeah, that was for a condom ad. Poor girl. I think there's a series of pictures. Yeah, poor girl. We're sitting on the rock, and I didn't watch how big the wave was coming, and she got completely drowned. But yeah, we all have to start somewhere, and it's just a matter of you just keep shooting, and your style will evolve.
Yeah. We hope you enjoyed that trip down memory lane. I know Peter did. With NIT. I know.
Oh, the rain's backing off.
Yeah, the rain stopped. Yeah, you guys can hear us again. Thanks for sticking around during the rain.
Evening from Miami Beach. Ooh.
Miami Beach. Oh, that was where
Nick Knight's a badass, yeah. Nick Knight's awesome. So many people don't know of him. Look him up, Show Studios. He is so out there. He's such a cool photographer.
Jeff said his wife asked how you got the baby to stay on the bodybuilder's back.
Super glue.
He said Velcro.
No, Velcro, they can still crawl off. Bit of super glue, you hold them there and they'll stick.
And Fred and his wife bought shares in a magic mushroom company.
Oh,
Oh.
magic.
See,
He's your new biggest clients.
I don't like
Shiraz mushrooms.
Well, we've caught up again. Oh wait, what did Daryl say? Same here, cards, MacBook, and double on the NAS?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what that is.
What does it say?
They said maybe you'll add that onto your wish list for gear, but I don't know what it is.
Maybe, yeah, no, I do. I do definitely want I need new computers, but I'm waiting for the new Mac Pro to have the new chips in there, and that's going to cost me maybe $30,000, which is ridiculous. But that'll most likely keep me going for another 5 years, because more and more I'll be doing 4K video to 8K video, and I need something that can work on it. And Beck already, we've got to update our laptop, so we're just waiting for the 16-inch
laptops
M2s to come out, and then we'll be on that little thing.
Yes. Josh would like to know what we're drinking tonight. He loves to see us create. Well, I'm drinking Ribena. Peter's drinking iced tea. It's dry July.
And it's not tonight, we're only lunchtime.
It's PM.
I'm not scared to say. I got really, really badly drunk on 2 drinks when I was really young. So one was a Status Quo concert, and I drank a bottle of Southern Comfort. I think I was about 15. And we had to line up, it was an outside gig, and I sculled that down in no time, and about 2 hours before the band came on and before we got into the gig, I brought the whole bottle back up, and I just started to sober up just in time, and then I went on stage. And I got alcoholic poisoning off tequila once, and now they're the 2 favourite drinks. SoCo Southern Comfort on the rocks, and straight good tequila, and I love my bourbons too. So
I had alcohol poisoning off Jaeger when I was.
Jaeger.
I had a Jaeger bomb and I fell in love with it, and then I turned into something. I had a house party.
You turned into something.
No, I had a house party and something happened, and I got really sad, so I just started drinking the Jaeger straight out the bottle, and I was in bed for 4 days. I couldn't even keep water down. Alcohol poisoning is so bad, but now I can't even drink Red Bull without thinking of Jaeger. So I'm the opposite to you. I can't touch the stuff. It's gross.
I don't think I've ever had a Jaeger bomb.
Oh,
yeah, that sounds like that fun.
Red Bull and a shot of Jaeger, and I just like my wine, but it's dry July, guys.
But hopefully tonight, my bottle of 4 Roses might be sitting at home. It's bourbon.
We got an email from Australia Post before something had been delivered.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm hoping it was that.
How has ceiling height affected your photography?
Sorry, how?
Ceiling height.
Yeah, I don't like ceilings. So the higher I can get the ceiling out of my picture, that's why I've got 7 meters. Yeah. But in my old studio, it was 4 meters, and it was white. I, in hindsight, should have painted it off-white or to a grey, not 18% grey, but bring it back a bit. So a few times I did struggle to be able to get contrasting that I wanted, but you can only work with what you've got. And when we used to travel, we didn't have much say in where we had to shoot, and a lot of times we were shooting commercial work in Airbnbs, and we'd just find a way around it. So yeah, the higher the ceiling is away from my subject, the better. I don't like black ceilings, I don't like white ceilings. I don't like the ceiling to actually have any effect on my photo. If I want to have a bounce, I'll set up a scrim and bounce the light off that to get that low ceiling type of look.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I should have.
You should have.
I should have. Do you want me to?
Oh no, you can get the next question, then you can.
People were saying that they really liked seeing your earlier work, so you guys are welcome. I thought it was a nice thing to share. So I'm glad people enjoyed that.
Well, what I might do, maybe the next live stream, we won't do it today, I'll set up a folder with a transition of my
that'd be cool.
My play work and my commercial work, and I'll just see how it evolved over time.
Yeah, I think people will like that.
But it was a lot of playing. A lot of my early thing was just trial and error and play. Yeah. And then if it didn't stand the test in time, what I mean is if 2 weeks later I look back at it and go, oh, what did I do? That is horrible. Because that's what happens. When you go too crazy on something, it might look great the night you did it.
But then later,
quite often I'd sit up till like 2, 3 in the morning editing, and I'd lose myself in the computer. And I'd wake up in the morning, look at the picture and go, oh, what did I do? This is horrible.
Well, it's no different to, well, it's a little bit, no, actually it's still
I
no
did the
different
same with writing songs too.
But also what you say on workshops is, like try and pretend that you don't have a pretty girl standing in front of you because you might get hung up on that. And
yeah.
then when you get home, you'll look at the photos and be like, what did I do to her?
Yeah.
She was so much
Prettier than
this.
this, yeah. But on the shoot, you were too blinded by her beauty.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, sometimes you can get blinded by filters and Photoshop actions and do all this crazy stuff.
And then you look back on it and you're like, what did I say?
This pitch was so much better before I took it into Photoshop.
I went through a phase of putting like little sections of my photos having pixels on them. I look back and that was in like 2015 and now I'm like, why did I think that was cool? Oh gosh. Anyways.
Is that back in Flick days?
No, it was only 6 years ago. That was during the time I wanted grey hair. Where was I?
Where was you?
Where was I? Do you prefer to produce your work in black and white versus colour and white?
Yes.
Yes.
Black and white's timeless, and it's on. Yeah, I did it on the video we did with the last. That was the last video, wasn't it? But your one, the colour lights.
Yeah.
Have a look on the last video towards the end that we put up. The what do we call it? The photoshoots. Can't even remember what we called it.
The colour thing.
Oh, whatever. The very last video that we put up with that right at the end, and it was using lots of colour and things like that. Right at the very end, we. Oh, nice. Sorry, just somebody trying to call me. A model I'd like to shoot with is trying to call me. I showed the difference between the picture in colour and black and white, and why I like black and white. And even Beck said that's very obvious, that as soon as I turned it to black and white, the things you were seeing disappeared. Now you only saw the model. And the other thing is that black and white's timeless. Unless you put weird tonings onto the black and white, you don't know what year it was taken. Yeah. Especially if it's a bare shoulder headshot, you've got no idea. And the picture I did of Natasha yesterday,
that could have been taken
that's
from like
so
the
1980s, 90s.
But it was taken now?
Yeah, so that's why. That's a me thing. And you do what you love, and black and white is what I love.
Do you have a favourite filmmaker, and do you feel that it has an influence on your work still?
Or Tarantino.
I was going to be like 3, 2, 1. Tarantino.
But I like Tarantino's. His mindless dialogue, I love his completely messed up sense of humour. I love Tarantino.
He's so good.
He would most likely be my favourite of the moderns, but I've watched some movies recently that.
The ringing came through on the audio. Why did it come through on the audio?
Oh, I don't know.
Shouldn't have done that. I'm really sorry, guys.
Yeah. I've gone silent. Maybe it might do it. Yeah.
No, because this is set to the USB.
Yeah. I don't
Shouldn't
know.
have come through. So really sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, look, there's always movies that really do a lot for me. And Ghost Story, was it? Or Ghost or Ghost Story? It's just a guy in a white sheet with his eyes cut out. It's a very, very slow moving movie. It's not a horror movie, and it got me so sucked in. I loved it because my mind kept on asking questions. Under the Skin?
Yeah, the
Scarlett Johansson again. At the end of the movie, I don't know what this movie was about. I couldn't even tell you the story of it.
Did you watch Midsummer?
Yeah, is that the one out in the fields?
Yeah,
the cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah, another one, Midsummer. This is really hard to watch. This is annoying. I don't understand. But it just sucks me in, and it makes my mind continually try and work out what's happening. And all of a sudden, something happens. You go, "Oh, didn't see this happening," and makes me jump. Another Mank was another one that's completely different style of movie. Absolutely enjoyed they changed the black and white processing through the entire movie. There's movies that really have inspired me a lot, but if it came to one director and one maker, Tarantino, I do like Rodriguez as well, so I do Tarantino and Rodriguez together. Yeah. So Dusk Till Dawn. Or that
Absolute rip-off.
Yeah, Planet Terror and the other one, Death Proof. Yeah. Anyway, that long answer. Sorry.
But We're very passionate about movies.
Yeah, I do. I love good. It's really hard for me to find something new and good. And when I find something, I just rant on it.
I can't believe, just quickly still on movies. I watched The Shawshank Redemption for the first time last Friday night.
And she's never seen The Green Mile.
So that's my next one I'm going to watch. But yeah, I've never seen it before, so it's crazy. Yeah, people are agreeing with us on that and also thinking that it was their phones ringing. I'm really sorry. I don't know how it came through. If we get another call.
This is good fun. Let everyone go, where's my phone?
No, that's fine. We can't do that. Do we like sci-fi? The show The Expanse is awesome. I think I've heard of that.
Sorry,
The
what?
Expanse? It's a TV show. Sci-fi.
No, can you write it down and I'll look at it later?
Yeah, I'll put it on the list.
Yeah, always looking for good new stuff. In fact, one thing I've been watching, I know it's completely different to this, is so I loved watching the Three Idiots with the cars, Top Gear, and then they did Grand Tour. Jeremy Clarkson running a farm I'm absolutely thoroughly enjoying that. It's only on Amazon Prime, but it's actually, I couldn't believe Jeremy Clarkson doing farm could be so much fun to watch.
Yeah, they said the idea for the live would be a really good idea.
The
Your
live?
photos.
Oh yeah, I'll do that next.
Have you used the Leica Noc Deluxe Leica lenses?
Yes, I used to have a 50mm 1.95, loved it but hardly ever used it, so I sold it. I still have like a 90mm f2, which I adore, and unfortunately my biggest mistake in my life, I had a Leica 16, 18, 21, so it went click 16mm, 18mm or 21mm. Love that lens so much, I don't know why I sold it, but I absolutely adored that lens. I got to buy it again, but it's like $6,000, so they're super expensive.
And yes, I'm really sorry for people that are watching a little bit delayed with the phone ringing. I just feel really mad. Sorry.
It's your fault.
Did we watch Green Room? No, I haven't even heard of it.
Put it on my list.
I'll put it on the list. I'll have a look at it.
Oh yeah, Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction's the best. Not the
Kill
best.
Bill.
Kill Bill's my favourite.
I love Pulp Fiction. I've watched it like 40 times, I reckon. And the best thing is if you watch Pulp Fiction, then you watch Kill Bill, watch Pulp Fiction again, and you'll see so many little references in Pulp Fiction because I was talking about making Kill Bill while I'm making Pulp Fiction. Yeah, Uma Thurman and Tarantino are stopping filming so they could talk about this new idea for Kill Bill.
You've told me that, but I didn't know there were references. I need to go to the ladies, if that's okay.
Aren't you taking your microphone with you?
I think that's... I just heard
I
iPhone.
accidentally did it once, but, and you can top that once you come back.
Well, they just
Where'd
heard
you get up
iPhone
to?
ringing. I don't think they need to hear other sounds.
Where'd we get up to?
We are up to... I was going to ask you a question before I go.
All right, you asked me a question.
Harry would like to know, at the peak of the pandemic, we saw models self-shooting editorials. Do you think that experiment changed the perception of the role of professional photographers?
No, it's just a photo's a photo, and I've seen amazing photos taken by amateurs. So the professional photo is just someone who gets paid to take it. Doesn't mean they're a good photographer. In fact, some of the worst photographers I know are professional photographers, but they do what they do and they're good salesmen. There's some really bad wedding photographers out there that make a lot of money by selling very average photography, but they're selling it. Their skill is to package it up and do the wow factor on the clients. And the clients don't know photography, so they don't really know the difference. I'm actually going to be doing a Skype shoot with one of my models because she's in Greece at the moment and she really wants to try doing this. And I will light her off her laptop. We're going to shoot at night time and I'll get her to position her laptop in exactly the right position to get the lighting I want. And then I'll just be doing screenshots off my laptop while we're Skyping and doing a photo shoot. So if it works, I've done it before and I got some cool stuff. So if it does work, I might have to show some photos about that. But yeah, no, I don't really. You'll get someone who'll come out and do a fluke song, and what goes crazy and they make trillions of dollars, I don't put that person down. It's just that they filled a hole. So all these influencers going out there and shooting commercial stuff and putting on Instagram, so now that client doesn't now book a professional photographer to shoot it. That's just industries turn and bounce around, and we have to work our way around things like that. So yeah, things are going to change. It's back. Imagine all the poor painters when photography just started. They all thought they were never going to get another gig painting again. Yeah. I just saw someone, any progression with C1? No, sorry. Pretty much I've paid for a year and I've hardly used it because I can't get my look. Yeah. And it's too slow for the way I work. And I've got somebody fairly close to me that's tied up with phase 1 fairly heavy. He wants to see nothing more than me using C1. But sitting down with him the other night, he actually agreed, yeah, I don't know how you're ever going to get your look out of C1 because it's not designed to do that. It's designed to do the opposite to what you're trying to do.
Yes. Did you study any of the Ansel Adams work, the zone system? If not, who were some of the photographers that were your inspiration?
I love Ansel Adams' work, but I didn't study his zone system. I understand it. It's a cool system. I don't use it. I use my eyes. Everything's my eyes. And before mirrorless come out, take a picture and I'd look at it. And I'd make my decision based on that. I had my highlight alert going off and I had to just guess what my shadows were doing. With mirrorless, I can now look through my viewfinder and have my zebraing set up. And now I can see it. And the good thing, I'm not sure how many of the mirrorless have it, but the Sony has an underexposure warning as well when you go to preview. So I can, yeah, the overexposure flashes black and the underexposure flashes white.
That's cool.
So I can now look on the back of my camera in more detail with the new Hasselblad X and the iPad. It Bluetooths out in the field and I can actually have my iPad sitting there, no tethering, and I can see all my details. So I really light as per my eye, but I'm lighting also to protect my highlights. So I do have a highlight alert on and it lets me know what's unusable and what's usable, and I make my exposure decision on that.
Jeff said when you rent a photographer, you're paying for the experience, yeah?
Yeah, a little bit. Yes and no. When it comes to, say, for weddings and portraits and things like that, it can be a bit that way. And we definitely have some clients that absolutely leave here on cloud 9.
Yeah, for sure.
So the experience of the shoot they love, but they also love the photos that otherwise wouldn't come back. But we know we definitely have 1 or 2 repeat bookers who leave here on literally cloud 9.
Very cute.
Yeah.
Fred said, P.S. the leather whip in my studio didn't go over well when trying to break the last model.
The what didn't go over very well?
Leather whip.
Oh, the leather whip.
We got in trouble for the breaking the model saying.
Yeah. It's not meant to be that. It's meant to be get them out of bad habits.
And a bunch of feminazis decided, one of them's got it out for you bad. I wonder if you thought you, like, maybe, I don't know.
Well, it's like breaking in a horse. It's getting a horse used to wearing a saddle.
Breaking in shoes.
Breaking in shoes. It's getting them comfortable in the way that you're. Yeah, but I'm not. It's anyway.
But that is a good.
I'm so inappropriate, and that's why I Beck's my assistant, because I don't have to. I can just say anything in here when the cameras aren't on, and nobody cares.
And I'll probably come back with
something worse.
G Mac said everyone thinks because they have an iPhone it makes them a photographer nowadays. Photography is still a skill and an eye. It is, but like iPhones are so good. Like we were out for lunch one day and we got talking to the restaurant owner and he asked Peter if Peter would take photos of his food and Peter said just use your iPhone. Certain things you can just use an iPhone, but if you do want, like there are...
Well, he actually, I know this is putting photographers out of work, but the type of photos he wanted, and he had really good photos of some of his work, and it was sort of like, just do what you're doing. These are the images you want. These look great. I'm tempted to eat that.
But then not everything can just be taken
No.
with an iPhone. Like the stuff that you do cannot be just done with an iPhone.
No,
So-
but look at the stuff Nick Knight's doing.
Yeah.
He's doing these amazing flower photos, and they're like 1.5 meters high, and they're selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're just unbelievable. But he is working on them in Photoshop and using Gigapixel and a few other things.
And Jeff said so with the experience. He meant experience like the years it's taken. Like for them to like how much experience the photographer has. Not the
Yeah, but
experience of being with them.
Yeah. It's still some people it's quick, some people it's slow.
I mean, like
That's why I'm lost.
I think he's asking. Clients are paying when clients hire a photographer.
Oh, yeah.
They're paying for how much experience the
Experience,
photographer
yeah.
has.
Yeah. From that side, yeah. Again, the clients that come in here, even those ones that came in the other day, you could see the look on their face that they couldn't believe how quick I got. The very first frame, they were sort of like, that's exactly what we want.
Yeah.
And you didn't even take a test shot. You just went bang, 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 put your camera there, put this there, and then went click. And that's what we want. And then when things go wrong, if you have experience, things don't go wrong. It's just like, it's a hiccup, we'll do this and now it works. Yeah. But yeah, it is, yeah. The confidence you get, the longer you've been a photographer, you've stuffed up so many times, you now know how to fix every mistake you make.
We could just go back and watch me. It was my first day, me shooting you. I was so not confident. I feel like if I did that again, I'd be better. Maybe.
You're not a very good bar lady though. But keep
Oh,
asking
sugar
questions.
lumps,
You didn't
I
ask
forgot.
questions though.
Okay, so I'm fully expecting no real answer, but I'm a complete amateur and love portraiture. I've taken pictures of all the people that were willing, and now I have no more subjects.
Yeah, I'm there. So
No, just keep taking photos of
yeah,
the same people.
still,
Just go
yeah, you
back.
don't. All right. So
Keep doing it.
yesterday I was shooting with one of my, I won't say oldest because I'm not in
The
age,
OG.
but one of my first real muses, and I worked with her like so much and taken so many photos of her, and it was just so good to work with her again. But on a new level, because I've learned a lot of stuff in the last 2 years. Like every day I'm learning something new that might get a better photo out of a model. And what I was doing with Natasha yesterday, it was so different to how we used to shoot, but then I managed to get to a whole new area with her and can't wait to shoot with her again. So as you develop, your models will develop, but you'll also learn better ways of doing things. And we did a filming of a live stream. At the end of the live stream, I filmed a tutorial to go on YouTube. At the end of it, I said to Beck, I should have said something then. She goes, why didn't you? So the next one, I'm going to do it, which will then show some more depth into the more you shoot with the model, the more you can actually get out of a model.
But also I'd say me and Peter shoot on average probably once a week, and the other day Peter spent, how long did you spend cleaning out the back folder? But there's so and there's shoots that none of you guys would have even seen, like nothing's ever been edited or posted, but we just shoot because it's fun, but then sometimes it's like
Crap.
and then we'll do a shoot the next week and it'll be amazing, and so then we'll show you guys something from that, and then the next week we might do like 2-3 dud shoots in a row, but we just
No, we don't normally get 2 or 3 duds in a row.
we might, it's a possibility.
Oh, it's a possibility, but
But yeah, no, we
the-
used
normally we did one day, yeah, but you just weren't in the right mood, and I don't think I was in the right mood.
to, yeah.
I think we'd scheduled in to do something we shouldn't have. We should have been doing other
Should- yeah,
things.
exactly.
But we committed to it and should have said, nah, it's not the right day.
But other than that, yeah, we just still shoot.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, and
Just keep shooting, and if you don't have new people to shoot, there's nothing wrong with that. And if you just keep creating awesome stuff with the people that you already have, the more you put out there, the more you're going to attract new people.
so what happens when we do a shoot, say like the one we did the other day, and you nailed the picture on the first test shot? So what's expected for the next shoot?
Got to do better.
Got to do better. So I'm always lifting the bar. Yeah, that shot like 2 months ago, yeah, that would have been a killer photo, but no, you can do that too easy. I want better than that now.
So frustrating. It's so hard
I need
for me
next
now.
level now.
It's super hard for me.
especially with me.
No.
So always
Well,
want
that's
better.
what I
If you did
mean.
this, it means you can do better.
Oh, if I shoot, not that I shoot with many other people, but if I like, well, actually, the photographer I shot with the other day, he was like, he was just blown away by them, and even he's like, I love shooting with you, and he's like, oh, you make it so hard, I have to go home and go through all these photos now. I'm like, I'm sorry, sorry, but yeah.
Whereas when we're shooting now, we're actually shooting much quicker unless something's not working. But the last few shoots, we got our frame in the first 20 frames. Or we might say, nah, I want to push it. This was too easy. Let's see what we could get.
I'm just too good.
I'm just too good. So you say. Lots
What's
of writings.
an inexpensive system to preview photos in a larger screen while on set? What's the most cost involved?
If you want to be tethered, it depends on what camera you're using. If you're using Sony, Sony has an awesome thing called, what's it called again?
Sony
Image Edge.
Yep.
Canon have a program that comes free with Canon. If you're on Hasselblad, Focus is free. If you're not tethering and want to load in, one of my favorite programs to use to go through raw files, and it does, I think it does most RAWs. It doesn't do Hasselblad, and I'm not sure if it does phase or not. Photo Mechanic, I think it's only like $100. That is awesome. It's so quick. As quick as you can scroll, it'll flick through. You can grade, you can rename, you can export previews, you can do all of that stuff. Before you go out, you need to show me where you're at.
No, I'm just going to stay here.
I was going to say, you need to show me
I'm
where you're up to.
just going to grab this and go over there.
Yeah, it really depends on what camera you're using. But I haven't tried the Tether Tools program yet. So I think Tether Tools have got a free 1-month trial on it. So try the Tether Tools program and see what that's like.
Someone sent us an email the other day saying that they thought it was good, I think. From them.
Yeah, I just haven't tried it. I keep meaning to do it, but it's like when you're happy with what you're using,
You don't want to try
you don't want to have to learn something new.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Dwayne says, "Am I hiding my wine in my mug?"
Sorry, you're
Decline
mumbling.
this, so there was a phone call coming through. I just had to hit decline because I don't want to annoy people. I'm sorry to the person calling us though. Dwayne said, "Am I hiding my wine in a mug?" No, it's
No.
Ribena.
It just more fits in a mug than a wine glass. That clicking is not her trying to light a dirty, filthy cigarette.
Couldn't find my quiet one. God. Heard Lightroom is moving away from images and more to video reels to compete with TikTok. Will you plan to switch to Flickr or something?
To where? Flickr. What's moving away? Lightroom or
Lightroom.
Instagram?
Apparently you're going to move from images to video.
Lightroom?
Yeah.
I don't use Lightroom.
No, but I think they're just, that's interesting.
No, I heard that, what did I hear? I thought, I don't know. I heard someone was switching. I thought it was Instagram. Oh, it's Instagram.
It's Instagram.
I don't know. The world's always changing, and it's one thing with social.
Oh, yeah, they said, oops, I mean Instagram, sorry.
Instagram, yeah, I heard that Instagram is going more towards that. That's fine. I just might use Instagram.
But Instagram's so handy. Surely they
Instagram, people are still going to keep using it the way it's used. They're just mostly going to. It's like YouTube have got their now story thing, which is if you record, it has to be recorded on a phone or it has to be uploaded through a phone. It has to be in that format, and it has to be under 2 minutes. They're all thinking that everyone's chasing whoever's kicking it at the moment. And I think this is like dumb business. You should be unique in creating the trend, not trying to jump on somebody else's bandwagon. And you see this a lot with big companies now because each person that makes a decision has got 10 people above them who can sack them for a bad decision. So everyone's trying to do safe things rather than come up with something awesome on their own. And I remember with Snapchat, all of a sudden they started trying to copy things on that, and then
No, Instagram, but there was Snapchat and then Instagram bought out Stories, which is like Snapchat.
yeah, that's what I mean. They're always, instead of coming up with something new themselves, They're trying to chase whatever
Well, even
someone else is doing.
YouTube's doing it now with the clips thing.
Yeah, with story.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm not about it. Yes. Thinking about portrait shooting, how much time do you spend per image in Photoshop?
As less as possible, as much as I need. I don't want to make my picture in Photoshop.
No.
When I was starting out, I thought I had to. Now it's like, what do I need to do to keep the essence of this picture but fix any problems?
Just clean up any,
I had a picture the other day and literally I think I was in and out of Photoshop within 30 seconds. So I had basically one pimple to remove and a tiny bit of a mark on her face, and that was all needed done. Everything else, it felt really good the way it was shot.
Jai said, remember seeing a huge broncolor softbox over your psych wall in one of our videos. Is there a special name for that softbox, and what instances do you use that for your shoots?
Yes, can you read the sign? Megalight.
Megalight.
So it's called a
Megalight.
Megalight.
It's over the white psych.
It's about 2.8 meters by 6.2 meter softbox. It has 8 heads, completely all adjustable, like turn the power up and down and so forth of each of the heads inside there. It's fully remote controlled. We can lower the whole thing straight up and down right to the floor, or you can stand it completely on edge or roll it any way except upside down, and it tracks through half the studio. I use it mainly on things like furniture, cars, especially motorbikes. I had a client.
We've got another motorbike shoot booked in soon, actually.
Yeah, I do have a motorbike shoot coming up soon. I'll just bring up while I'm talking. I used to shoot for a couple of the motorbike magazines, and
I'll come over and flick it.
They had their own shooter, so their shooter would shoot the half-naked chickie babes on the bikes. I was the one who actually did the shot of the bikes, and that shot would then be the cover or something. I'm just trying to find one of my traditional ones off
and then I'll
that
come
light.
the screen. Sorry, I've been absent. People who miss my playing with my hair and twirling on my chair.
I can't hear you miles
They could
away
hear
from
me.
me.
It's fine. Just doing my little back thing where I talk.
Can you? How do I flick it?
I'll flick it.
You're going to flick it. So I've got a bike. It's going to slightly pixelate a bit. So sorry about that, because the thing is.
Back, everyone. I know you miss
Yeah.
me so much.
That was with that light. That's with that light. Lots of these are with that light. It was so quick and easy for me to set these shots up. That was with that light. That wasn't. That was, and that wasn't. So yeah. How do I flick it back?
Push. I know which way it is, but I don't know my left and right.
You don't know your left and right. Is it your side or my side?
my side.
Hey, it's the best trick. If you say, can you move your left hand? They'll always not know what you're talking about. So normally if I want a model to move a hand, I'll say, can you move your arm? And they'll move it and say, no, the other arm. So then they don't have to think. Yeah. But if you say left and right, you watch their brain go into meltdown mode.
Well, even with car directions.
And car directions,
my
side, your side. So that's Beck's one. But every now and then Beck goes, turn that way.
I'm so good at directions.
Yes, so not.
So good. Do we book the crows for do the crows book shoots? Yeah, me and my mum.
Yeah. They're pretty loud when they walk on the roof.
They're so loud. They make lots of noise.
What was that? The saw Try Mary Jane.
Try Mary Jane. Maybe.
I do. Oh, crows book shoots. Try Mary Jane.
I'm not sure.
No. There was a movie that I can't find anymore. I Love You, Mary Jane, I think, which is that little short vampire movie that was made by Blue Tongue Films.
All right, we've been going for 3 hours officially.
Right, so start zipping down.
So we'll start wrapping this up soon now. It's funny, when we first started doing lives, they went for about an hour, and then I think they started just creeping
but
up.
if people still got questions, I'll go
I
another half an hour. But
we don't mind. We don't mind sitting here talking to you guys. You guys like talking to us. All we ever do is talk anyway.
Well, as soon as I get off this, I'll go back to editing. Video editing, even worse.
Yucks. We've got a few phone calls to return.
A few phone calls, yeah.
But yeah, if you guys do have any last questions, send them our way.
Was there no questions?
I don't think so. I think I caught up on them.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm down at the bottom.
Oh, so I'm up there.
No, I've done all that.
You've done all that?
No, I'm on top of it. There we go. Peter, what is your current workflow, with the editing programs?
For my Hasselblad, so tether into the focus package. I then will, if it's a my picture, it'll come out in the finished little B, which will be black and white, and into Photoshop, and all the global work have been done in focus, and then things like pops and scratches and dust spots, all those little things I'll clean up in Photoshop, and I might do a little bit of toning that I can't do, so precise toning and featuring of different areas, dodging and burning to clean up some skin, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my workflow. Then out, if it's on the Sony, I will look at the pictures through Photo Mechanic, cull them down, take them into ACR, do my working there, but now my new setup is I'll go out of ACR into Photoshop in color, but the LUT that I use to do my work in ACR, I'll have to do the tutorial so they can understand. So I can see it in black and white in ACR, but it's still a color picture, and I can also then apply that LUT in Photoshop so I can supply my client a color or a black and white.
Yeah. Do you have different preparations when shooting artistic nudes versus fashion shoots?
No. I don't really do artistic nude. I do my stuff, which is normally messed up.
Yeah.
Like, it's normally, there's a story, but there's a sub-story sitting there. Art nude is not something I'm interested in. It's not really my thing, just I call it naked chick laying on a rock. It's not, but I want a story, I want something, and I've got a storyboard full of these, and Donna, when I get Donna down, we did a series called The Housewife like 10, 12, 14 years ago maybe. And we're going to continue. We can't show it, yeah, sorry. Inappropriate.
YouTube will give us a big old
cross. But yeah, she's going to come down and going to finish that, do some more of that series. And yeah, that stuff, the nudity is more of a yin and yang. It's like, it's not there for the titillation. It's a bit more like a dancer. It's more there for form, but it's also the surreal of the story.
ATEM, I'm not too sure what their name is, but if you want help editing, they said they'll help, but no male nudes, please.
Oh.
And JPV said that they love this. Please let us know when the next live chat will be closer to the time. Well, I don't like to put up our live streams too far in advance, but if you guys would prefer like a week's notice.
But we need weather, otherwise we get crap like this happen.
Stuff like rain, but I like to do it about 48 hours before we're going live. I like to give a little, hey, we're going live.
We can maybe give a bit more notice. But
I feel like 48 hours is okay.
Yeah. Well, we try and do one in the morning for the UK, for America, and then one in the evening for the UK. So our cooking ones will tend to be in the evenings, and our studio chitty chat ones, or if we did live shoots, that'd be tending to be in the mornings for America.
But we try and do about one a month, and we also try and alternate the time so that people around the world can catch them actually live rather than watching the 3 hours later.
Yeah, it's just more about answering your questions
and having a live chat with you guys. Harry would like to know, do your clients care about the megapixel size of your images now that most cameras are above 40 megapixels?
Most of my clients don't use, they wouldn't even use 6 pixels. Seriously. So much stuff is just on web only. And if I had a 6 megapixel camera using the new software on Adobe, I can now make a 6 megapixel into a 24 megapixel, which would cover 90% of work. So yeah, megapixels is for camera club photographers. They keep, I need more, but they don't realize that the more megapixels you have, the smaller the actual sensor size of that pixel is the less quality of the actual image. It's getting refraction on, once you go above f11, you're getting ghosting, you're getting not good color, you're poor low light. You guys, the very best cameras in the world, around 18 to 24 megapixels, will give you the best. And that's where we should be pushing camera manufacturers to go, because we now have technology that can upsize the pictures massively, and you can't even see that happening. Now you don't have these massive files.
Well, I guess that also answers George's question of when do you think the megapixel race will end?
It won't, because it's been pushed by camera club idiots. Yeah. These people, and sorry, I'm not going to call you idiots, but people that don't understand why they want more, because they're never printing anything. And some of it's the wildlife guys that don't want to have to buy a longer lens, so we can just crop in. Well, and sports shooters, we just crop in. No, well, that's the art of a really, really good wildlife photographer's been able to get that picture, get close. Not stand 2 kilometers away and try and get that rare animal.
Yeah, but sometimes you can't get close to them.
Yeah, of course you can. Watch David Attenborough. They can get really close. Anyway, I still really, really push that. What I want is really good dynamic range. If 15 stops minimum, I want to have really good low light. I want to be able to shoot at 6400 and still not have a dirty grainy image.
I think I've got this at over 2000 ISO, and we look great.
We look great, dude. That's because it blurred you out. Next question, so we can
would
wrap
like
it
to
up.
know, can you still shoot not tethered? Yes.
Yeah.
It's just easier for clients and models being able to see. And
Yeah. But once I'm out in the field, we don't tether very often in the field.
No, not at all. I have a Godox AR400 ring light. The colour comes out very distinct and mushy. Can a flash give bad light?
Yes. Comes out mushy.
Mushy. Need to get a prompt for the next answer.
Yeah, I'm not. What I find, the difference I find with good lights and bad lights is more consistency, is more where I have the problem with, so when I say good light and bad light, expensive lights and cheap lights. With shooting on, say, my Broncolor Scoro, I can shoot all day long, my color temperature will stay the same. I can, my light power, if it's a hot day or a cold day, it is just going to stay the same. Whereas any of the cheaper lights I had, the hotter it got, the more my flash varied in power and more my color varied. So that's mainly it. I shot with a $200 light not long ago, and I can still get good images off those lights. I just can't get a precise accuracy every single time. But I could still fix it in Photoshop.
Yeah.
So I could still pick the worst of that and still use that as a picture that had the worst color, because I can correct the color. So yeah, it's just for me, for consistency with the client, I don't want to have to recolor correct every image because my lights are changing color.
Now, what do we give our models for lunch?
Sugar.
Sugar. Now we keep a jar of this, a jar of M&Ms, and just like little packets of chips and stuff, and just little Redskins, just little snacky foods that we keep in the studio. Because most models, if you ask them if they're hungry before or during a shoot, they'll say no, because they don't want to bloat. But after a shoot, we'll normally get them lunch. We get fish and chips, or we get sandwiches, but during a shoot, we just have little snacks to keep them going.
Best camera for medium, best lens for Canon for medium format. Look, I don't know. No, I do know. It's expensive. The Zeiss Batis will turn most cameras into that. It doesn't, but it still doesn't. I don't know how to explain it. And when you're medium format lover, it's a fall off of the depth of field that medium format gets, because it's a larger sensor, which is giving us that fall off. I do find that the Otis lenses shot down, below f2 on my Sony give like that medium format feel that I like. But I get that medium format feel at f5.6 on my medium format. So yeah, it just means I have to shoot shallower to get a similar type of fall off. But the Otis lenses are between $6,000 and $8,000. So for that, you could buy a second-hand Hasselblad and lens. No, and don't get me wrong, I love this. My Zeiss Otis are my favorite lenses in the world. But if you want the medium format look, get a medium format.
Yeah. Would we consider doing workshops in-house? So, I mean, like at people's houses?
I don't know. Quickly re-ask that question.
Paul,
In-house,
like
or do you mean workshops live?
Yeah, let us know what you mean by in-house, because let us know what you mean.
we could do a workshop live. Be different.
Be very hard.
But only limit it to a small amount of people.
Be pretty tricky though. But we could do it.
Yeah, could do
try
it.
to. And I had a question. Yeah, where did I learn to model, and how has Peter contributed to my growth? I'm very good. Thank you. Peter has contributed a lot. I've been on and off modeling.
I feed her, and it's made her grow.
I've been modeling on and off since I was 3 or 4 years old. So I did like kid modeling, and then I stopped, and then I started again when I was about like 12, 13. And then I did shoots for friends who were doing uni in high school when I was about 14, 15. So I've just kind of done it on and off like the majority of my life. So I guess that's, actually, you know what I probably think the best, I think this has come naturally to me because my parents, from when I was about 3 days old, always stuck a video camera in my face. The entire first 3 years of my life is documented, so I'm just used to having a camera in front of my face. I'm used to just being myself. And then Peter's taught me a lot, because I've been working with him since I was about 18.
But you've changed a lot in the last year and a half.
I have. So,
But I think it's just awakening to taking a little bit more notice of some of the models that you respect, and then seeing like what Adriana Lima does with her eyes, and what.
That's probably the best thing that I can, like the best teaching thing I can say is watching other models, like just watching fashion shows and watching behind the scenes of models that I really respect and I really look up to, and even watching interviews with them. I just learn off other models that I just hold at such a high regard. Even when I was watching UFC on Sunday and Adriana was in the crowd, the camera went on her. Just still like looking at the camera, giving eyes. Why? Why do you? How? I learn off other models and learn, and I also get to see it every single day.
But there is a light bulb moment. And until that happens, it doesn't matter how many times I say eyes, it doesn't say how many times I say feel, what are you feeling? It doesn't work until that light bulb moment happens where you did something, you felt it, and the picture was amazing. You go, I know how to redo this now.
And some days I'm like,
no, some days you're not going to get it, yeah, if you're flat. Just quickly back on the Godox, I think I can see what his problem is. One of the other big differences between expensive lights and cheap lights is how quick the light will turn off. Not how quick the light goes on, it's how quick it turns off, and especially at half power. So there's a very technical thing, I'm not going to go hours in it, so it's a T.1 and a T.4 time. It's if you're stuck at shooting 160th of a second, and at 160th of a second without a flash, that would be a blur. But at 300th of a second without flash, that's still a blur. So you need to be at 160th of a second so you don't have that rear curtain come in. Now the problem with the cheaper lights turned down to half is the light will flash up here. Also, we'll talk about full. It'll flash up here at full, and it'll drop down and then tail off like that. But theirs completely off over a period of time. Right. And then with the expensive light, it's nearly doing exactly the same thing at full power. But when we pull the power down to half, the expensive lights basically mimic what happened, drop down and tail off like that. But the cheap lights go up and they hit their tail off from the high part, and they stay flat for a lot longer at that power, which means it's going to give you blur if your subject is moving. So the answer to that is you need to, if you want to shoot dancers jumping and freeze them, You either need to use a fast sync flash, so you can shoot at 1,000th of a second or something like that, or you need to shoot with a more expensive flash that will actually turn on and turn off quickly. You want your flash to be turning off at about 1,600 to 2,000ths of a second. If I'm doing dance shots and I've got a lot of ambient light in the studio, I can, on my Broncolor pack, turn it up to say 3,000ths of a second for the light to turn off.
So fast.
So fast.
Have you ever done a page shoot shooting only in JPEG and not in RAW?
No. I just wouldn't. I will give my clients nothing with JPEGs. A lot of my clients only get JPEGs. No, it's because you never know what. Well, no, I'm restricting the quality of what I can capture. So yeah, no, because I'm only going to be 8-bit. If all of a sudden they want something done that's a grey wall, it's going to band up. Yeah, no.
And Paul said no at the Awesome Studio in person. Yeah, we normally, in normal settings, we do a 5-day workshop in end of February, and we do a 3-day workshop in November. But obviously we haven't been able to do that at the moment.
We did a 3-day this year, because we didn't risk a 5-day because of lockdowns.
Yes, but we did a 3-day here in February, and we're not too sure when we'll be able to run another one, but we do normally run 2 workshops here a year, and you can book that as a full 3-day or just an individual day, depending on what you want to learn. That is something we do normally do.
Without pandemics, yeah, we did it a lot. But we're still planning to try and do this year Sydney, Perth, Brisbane, and Adelaide, and maybe New Zealand. But we just got to see what the problem is we can't announce the dates because we take your money booking and then PayPal will not give us
take a cut of it.
Take a cut of it, and then we have to cancel because it's been locked down. PayPal won't give us back their cut. Yeah. So we're going to be out of pocket $400 or $500.
And then PayPal's making money, which I find is pretty rude.
Anyway,
that's my 2 cents. Is it possible to use the H film back with the H6D or the H4D?
Definitely with the 6D. I have 2 film backs. So just bear with me 1 second.
Runnings. Last time I saw him run was when we were in Zurich and I messed up train times and I made him run to catch a train. I thought he was going to have a heart attack because it was kind of scary. But he survived, so I'll learn to be better with train times in future. Only 40 degrees in Phoenix.
Sorry.
So, oh yeah, and it was so hot. I've got friends that live in Tucson, Arizona, and they say it's absolutely steaming over there at the moment. But nope, freezing cold here.
So just so you can see, I do shoot film. There's film. There's more film. In here is my film backs. So I can literally click off my digital back off my Hasselblad and click my film back on. This is my 400 ISO and this is my 125 ISO film. So I can just swap between those 2. So if I'm, did we do something on the beach? Oh no, I didn't pull it. That's why this was packed. Oh no, this was packed for Canberra. I was going to shoot film with Zoe and I ended up not doing it. Yeah, so yeah, they click straight on the H6. I think, depends on the H4 you have. I think there's a H4X or so. There's a H4 that these will work on, but not all the H4s. You could just click that back off and click this on.
I'll quickly wrap this up, right. But is there a way to purchase digital prints of your work? Peter doesn't sell digitals? No, sorry, we only sell.
We've already had problems with people stealing work, blowing it up and putting on t-shirts and or Motley Crue stealing my work and putting it on their live show around the world and refusing to pay for it. And
so it's unfortunate that the minority ruined it for the majority, but we now no longer give out digital files in high res to anyone. I'm not saying you would do it, but people like Peter's been burnt, so we just don't do it anymore.
And my work is my art, and it's also hopefully going to be like a superannuation or an investment for my kids later on. So if I'm just giving away images for $5 so you can print it yourself, that's made all my years of work worth $5. Whereas it's nearly like the NFTs. My original should be worth the money that it's worth.
Yeah, that's right. And Harry says, over the last few, well, how has Peter styled over?
Try
that again. How has Peter's style evolved over the years, and how has Beck's style started to evolve, and what am I doing to develop my own style? Well, I don't take photos, so.
Beck's, you're not trying to develop a style though.
Nah, I'm
You're
just
doing
me.
what you like a picture.
I just do me.
And most models, unless they're what we call not a models or icon models, who have a certain look and they'll only shoot in that look. Most models don't have, their style is their look.
Well, and I guess
And
that's
it's not really evolves.
Well, that's my thing. It's just like my style. So if I'm going to a shoot, I will prefer to do my own hair and makeup, and I'll prefer to pick out my outfit, which is the only photographers I work with are the ones that really, unless it's commercial. But if I'm doing a test, I will not. I'm in control of the style, but that just goes with my mood as well. Some mornings I want to do black smoky eyes, some mornings I want to do winged eyeliner and a red lip. I don't know, I just change. But Peter has influenced me in one way. I used to just post any old thing on my Instagram. I remember one day I was at work and I noticed I hadn't posted something for a week, and I said to Peter, I haven't posted in a week, what should I post? Help me pick which is the best out of these. And Peter was like, so you're why are you going to post something for the sake of it? If you don't have anything to post, don't post anything. And if you guys look now, you'll notice I only post on Instagram about like 2-3 times a month, because unless it's an awesome photo, I don't feel the need to share it. So there you go.
Yeah, but I overpost for a reason, because
it's your business.
It's my business and some of the people I work with.
Yeah.
It's, even though I mightn't love the picture, and I would never, if I hadn't shot it, if it was a commercial shoot, because I never post my commercial, I would not put it up. But to get the model some recognition, to get that sort of all happening for the model, I'll post it as a feel good. But no, so nobody knows what pictures I'm talking about, so it's not.
Oh, no, I was laughing. Someone said, tell the crows I say hi.
Oh, the crows are going, hey, we don't have kookaburras here. Like, we really should have kookaburras here.
I wish we do at your place.
We do at my house, but we don't have them here. Anyway, yeah, so things like that. I actually am going to I'm slowly getting tougher and tougher. Beck's actually seen me go, yeah, I'm not posting that.
Yeah.
So more and more, I'm actually going to bite the bullet and maybe upset the odd model by not posting. We had a commercial client that keeps hassling me for post. Can I post some of the pictures from the shoot?
Yeah.
And it's not my photos, because I would have done it different, but I shot her the way she wanted to be shot. So I'm not going to post it, because then somebody else is going to ask me to do that for them, and that's not what I want to do. No, I want to shoot what I want to shoot. I'm selfish.
Do you recommend a camera or website as a guide for a beginner doing internal camera and video 4K as well as nature shots?
I don't like recommending gear, because it's like recommending someone a car.
Yeah.
We've all got a taste. Like, I love the Sony, and if you haven't got much money, like the A7s II, you should be able to pick that up pretty cheap now, I think. And it does 4K internal, and it's 12 megapixel, but shoot it raw, take it into Photoshop, take it into ACR, it's now 48 megapixel, and you cannot see the difference. That new blow up by 4 times is amazing. So just from cameras I use, I would say jump onto if you want a 4K camera that can shoot great stills, that's going to give you 48 megapixels off a 12 megapixel, a good dynamic range, jump on that.
Is there a big difference in look with an image from the 50C back and the 100C? Is it easy to tell apart?
All right, no.
I don't think I can
If
tell.
anybody from Hasselblad is listening, they're going to hate me for this comment, but I'm not a pixel junkie, and I bought the 100 megapixel because I wanted, it's a bigger sensor. The actual sensor physically is bigger, which gets it closer to full size medium format. And I really could not see any difference in the feel of the medium format in my pictures. except I've gone from shooting 2 frames a second to 1 frame every 2 seconds. And 1 frame every, if they say 1.6 seconds, but I call it 2. At that rate, a model, you'll go click, the model will go reset. Right? I don't want the reset.
Yeah.
And because you can't shoot any quicker, you're going, model's going reset, reset, reset. And that's not how I work. I want to go click, click. Because then the model can't reset to that, which means I can now have the model just drift and I just take the pictures when I want because I can never guess when I'm going to take the picture. I ended up selling my 100 megapixel to buy another 50 as a backup. And I got a lot of money for my 100 and I bought my second 50 for like an eighth of the price. So it was a COVID saving decision.
All right, we've got to wrap this up, guys. I just quickly, last one, what was your first serious camera?
EOS 3 film. That I had to buy, yeah. EOS 3 was my first big investment in photography. Before that, I was stealing Dad's camera. He had a Minolta that I used to steal all the time. But yeah, for me, my first proper, what I was called proper camera, and at this stage, I was still only shooting as a hobby. It was just something I did alongside my fishing, was the EOS 3, and I loved that. And then when I got an EOS 1, I thought I was the best photographer in the world. Well, that's what all the sports guys had. It made me equal to them. That and a 70 to 200 white lens. Oh my God, I thought I was so good. My photos are still crap. Anyway.
Well, I'm really sorry if I missed any questions or if I didn't get to answer them, but we do really have to go because Peter has a lot of editing to do and we've got clients we need to call back. And thank you for joining us. We hope you guys liked talking photography. I was going to use the swear words.
You can't use swear words.
Thank you guys for talking with us and chatting with us. We love you guys and appreciate you all. And thank you for all your nice comments. Hello around the world. We will do another live stream soon. We will do another live stream soon. It might be at a different time.
Won't be next week.
Won't be next week. It'll be like in a month's time. Questions, leave them in comments. Send us an email. I did just I'll drop my email in the chat right now if you guys have a burning question. And
if you're seeing this after this we still look the question. We still see everyone's comments, so we still try and answer as many as we can, unless they're saying, "Oh, I look sexy," and I don't answer those ones.
Anyways, thank you guys. You guys are awesome, and we will see you all soon.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. Cha-ching. Bye-bye. Have a great day.